BC. They make a change at quarterback. A redshirt freshman making his first career start, Cole Kelly. More on that in a moment. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, and Maria Taylor. Arkansas won the toss, deferred, so they'll kick it off. Connor Limpert to Henry Ruggs, the true freshman who is deep, and we'll see the Tide offense on the field first. And the lefty boots it to the end zone. And Kirk will see Jalen Hurts in this high-powered Alabama ground game.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, obviously, second year as a starter. Very, very strong. 6'2", 218 pounds. He's had a great year running the football this year. I think you're going to see him involved in running the ball, but more on the perimeter tonight, trying to get the ball to the outside and then stay in rhythm against zone. This will be the first team that they've played all year that's played a lot of soft zone coverage, and I think because of that, you'll see number 2 throw the football tonight and staying in rhythm with his talented group of wide receivers.
Damian Harris, speedy back, who's off to a great start. Number 34 to the quarterback's left now as he shifts for this first play. He's got it. And he creates a crease, and off and running is Damian Harris into the secondary. Foot race. Harris to the house on the first play. His second 75-yard touchdown run of the season. An explosive start to an already festive evening here in Tuscaloosa. Wow.
They have a very, very deep group of running backs, and as much as people want to talk about Bo Scarborough and Najee Harris and others, it's been Damian Harris all year long for the Crimson Tide, and boy, does he set the tone after last week's close call against A&M. First play of the game.
Averaging 8.5 yards per carry coming in. It'll go up after that carry. His 8th touchdown of the season already.
I talked about how they want to try to run the ball to the outside. And when you try to run the ball to the outside, see this inside technique, they want to try to get the ball out here. But watch this. Arkansas takes that away. And when you do, there's the vision and the cutback right there and the acceleration that he has for his size. 5'11", 220 pounds, kind of an all-around talented back that they have. Not the most physical, but has that ability to have great vision, great balance, and that is impressive. And you can pull away from secondary players and take it all the way to the house for a touchdown. That's a great job.
Damian Harris dropping some weight. He's changed his diet. He's become more explosive. He's become a breakaway runner, which he didn't used to be. 3 huge runs already in the season.
Pretty easy for Jalen Hurts. We're going that way.
And just an ideal situation for Cole Kelly. It's a reshuffled Arkansas offensive line. Only one guy starting in his regular position. You walk into this environment, your first action as a starter against this defense and this crowd, and you're down 7-0 the first time you touch it.
This is his coaches tell us this is the kind of guy that he is. He wants to walk into this kind of atmosphere, but a lot of adversity based on what you just said.
Say the least. A high kick by J.K. Scott, and Davion Warren's going to run it back from the 5. And he'll be dropped short of the 20. So here we go from the 19-yard line. Cole Kelly. All that confidence, all that natural swagger will be tested. Devois Whaley is the back in the I formation for the Hogs' first play. Play action, and Kelly on the roll. He's a runner, too. Big fella slides down at 270. He's been sort of a situational running quarterback so far.
I'm glad you keep saying big fella, because for people at home, if you can't tell, he's 6'7", 268 pounds. I mean, he is every bit of that. And he's played this year. He's gotten some opportunities to come in when Allen has not been able to go out there, and especially the A&M game, I think, gave him some experience. So he's got a little swagger about him. And first play, they give him a chance to get on the corner.
Well, thank you, and welcome to homecoming in Tuscaloosa. Already an explosive start to a festive evening. Alabama leads 7-0. 75-yard touchdown run from Damian Harris on the Crimson Tide's first play. And now the first possession for Arkansas. The Razorbacks making a change at quarterback. Austin Allen, bum shoulder, hurt it last week against South Carolina. Didn't practice all week. So here's big Cole Kelly, redshirt freshman, 6'7", 270 from Lafayette, Louisiana, facing a 3rd and 6.
His first third down of the night.
To screen, dropped off short. And this is Austin Cantrell, and he's knocked down 5 yards short of a first down. So in all this noise against this defense on the road, in your first start, predictable 3 and out.
Yeah, a 3 and out, and you know, you want to avoid those big mistakes, especially after the touchdown run by Damian Harris. But Brett Bielema, he told us, listen, we're going to come in here and compete offensively. We're not going to just be super conservative with Cole Kelly. But that is a tough way to start this game when you're a big underdog in this atmosphere, to give up the very first play of the game defensively, a big touchdown run.
Blake Johnson on to punt, mishandles the snap, has to collect it inside the 5, thinking about throwing it, heaves it downfield into traffic, and it's incomplete. So instead of kicking it on the run, chooses to heave a pass, and the Tide will take over at the plus 25.
And Brett Bielema's got to be sitting here thinking, what? And I just got off the team bus, and we've given up a 75-yard touchdown. We go 3 and out. The perfect snap goes right through the punter's hands, and instead of trying to just punt it for just trying to get rid of it, he decides to throw it up into the air.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 26. That penalty will be declined.
Of course.
First down.
Who expected a pass?
He got to the outside. He had a chance to try to save the play and punt it, even if it was a 5 or 10-yard punt.
Here's the highlight that you missed. The Tide's very first play from scrimmage. Damian Harris, who's dropped some weight, become an explosive home run threat with his 8th touchdown of the season.
And there again is the vision of Damian Harris and his ability to take it, not only get to 15, 20, and 30 yards. This is the difference in Harris now, outrunning the secondary and going all the way to the end zone for 75 yards.
So the Tide take over at the 25. Hurts from the pocket, escapes, pump fakes, and now will fall down for a 1-yard gain. We talked about Hurts' progression steadily as a passer.
Yeah, and watching the film and talking to the coaches, they said that this week Jalen Hurts is going to be asked to really show how far he has come as a passer. You know, he's not turned the ball over through the air. Doesn't have any interceptions. But they haven't really put him in positions where he has had to work through his progressions the way he will tonight.
Little pop pass, end around. And that's Josh Jacobs, the running back, who's finally healthy. He's been a talented multi-threat guy. We'll see him tonight, but the Chick-fil-A impact players, we already see what Harris can do. Calvin Ridley is the featured receiver.
Yeah, Harris, big playability. Calvin Ridley, they'll look to isolate. And on defense, somebody needs to step up and emerge to be a leader. Jackson, kind of the middle 78 of that defense. And Santos Ramirez is a great defender on the back end. Has a future in the NFL. Has got to be very aggressive, especially the way this game has started. Number 9, the safety's got to have a big night tonight for the.
He's one of the vocal leaders, trying to inspire his teammates to have a chance to perhaps force a field goal attempt here. 3rd and 6 for the Tide. Play clock running down. Just gets it off. Hurts from the pocket. His attempted shot to the end zone to Robert Foster, who broke the route off.
Yeah, and that's a win. That's a win for Arkansas after what happened with the punt. The ball gets through the punter's hands. Alabama has great field position at the plus 25 after you already gave up a touchdown the first play. Good job by that Arkansas defense going up here, getting Jalen Hurts to 3rd down, and then the miscommunication with Hurts and his receiver there, trying to throw the fade and the receiver running a wrong route.
Andy Pappanastos, senior kicker, very accurate, 7 for 7 inside 40 yards this year. This from 39. And he slides it through. But as you said, that's a win for the Hogs. The disastrous punt snap drop produces only 3 points. The fireworks so far belonging to.
You're watching Dos Equis Tailgate Week.
Alabama alums from all corners of the country converging on the quad. A very festive scene here. Nice tailgating weather. Crimson Tide coming in with a streak of victories against unranked opponents that has reached 70. Could challenge the all-time record in the coming months. Scott to kick it away. And Warren will have a go from the 4. Coverage team flies down there, drops him at the 13. Maria Taylor, the nightmare start continues. Tough work for this young quarterback, Cole Kelly.
Yeah, it's hard to be a redshirt freshman, first-time starter at the quarterback position tonight. But, you know, Coach Bielema said that Cole Kelly is a guy that's really confident. On Saturday, he believes he can beat Alabama. On Sunday, he believes he could beat the Patriots. But I saw after the first series, that was a 3-and-out. Dan Eno sitting right next to him saying, hey, stay calm. And they did tell me that he does ride waves, so he can get very low or very high. They're trying to see how he handles adversity tonight against Bama, guys.
He doesn't know what he doesn't know. He doesn't have any mental scar tissue, Kirk. That's for yet.
Yeah. And he's going to get 15 more yards. It's like a dead ball foul against Mac Wilson. Just happen to be watching this play. You'll see number 30 get involved in a little bit of a altercation. There's that push right there. And there was actually one more push towards the end after the whistle, and that's when the flag came down. So gets a little bit better field position, and there is Coach Saban letting Mac Wilson know all about that. Keep in mind, this team was challenged. People had fun with the media, with the rat poison comment. That was a message sent to his team because they showed up flat last week against A&M.
There's Kelly with a short completion, and Deion Stewart cannot escape right at the line of scrimmage. Again, Austin Allen knocked out of the game at a shoulder injury against South Carolina in the loss. He didn't practice all week, so Kelly got all the first-team reps, and Saban was keyed up this week.
Yeah, he was, and just to go back to what his comment that he made after that A&M game, and he talked to us this week about that. He was frustrated with his team and with the way they took their foot off the accelerator after they had a comfortable lead, and he is treated this week as if they lost that game because they lost the second half to A&M. So the players' buttons have been pushed, and we'll see how they respond throughout the game, even if they build a lead.
Play action on second down. Kelly has time in the pocket. Incomplete. You can see that he zipped the ball that was right through his top target, Jonathan Nance. It's again 3rd and long.
And you know, these receivers, they've been able to catch Austin Allen's passes for a long time, and of course they get a look at Kelly in practice. But there's a different velocity that comes off the ball and a different delivery with Kelly at 6'7", 270 pounds throwing that football. And that ball almost looked like it snuck up on Nance. It was well thrown, accurate throw, but I just think it maybe surprised Nance with how quickly it got on him.
3rd down stats are misleading against Power 5 competition. The Hogs have struggled on 3rd down. Alabama, one of those complex looks, pressuring the young quarterback who escapes. Fire is incomplete. Could have run for some yardage. Could have threatened perhaps a 1st down, but zipped it incomplete again.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking. Maybe he has a little bit of hesitation. He does the hard part. You're right. Here comes that complex scheme. They got to him, but he avoids it. He pulls away out of Tony Brown. There's nobody to his right. Not one defender to his right. And the coaches told us, listen, at 6'7", 270, don't think he's a statue in the pocket. He can run the football. If he would have run there, he would have easily picked up a 1st down.
Instead, the second 3-and-out for the Razorbacks. And Johnson able to get the punt away. Ruggs wants no part of it. It will bounce. And the Tide will take over. All right, Kirk, you made your comment about the rat poison. We brought some alongside because rat poison is praise from the media for his team, which he hates.
I'm trying to get our players to listen to me instead of listening to you guys. You know, all that stuff you write about how good we are and all that stuff they hear on ESPN, it's like poison. You know what I mean? It's like taking poison, like rat poison.
Yeah, all you media guys with your rat poison.
They do have a lot wrong with this team, don't they?
We were having some fun at the passing game to 101st. They had a punt block last week. They missed 5 field goals, had a turnover, which was shocking. Back to work, though, and this is Bo Scarborough taking a turn. Effective run up across the 40. Check out Josh Jacobs, who we're going to see tonight.
So Josh Jacobs back healthy. He will be rotating in there with Bo Scarborough and Damian Harris. Some people feel he could be their most talented, most gifted running back that they have on the roster.
Now they feed Scarborough. Big fella cuts it back, and he's running through tackles. This is not a consistent run-stopping defense, and that's a big problem against the Crimson Tide.
Well, especially when you're Alabama and you rush for 300 yards a game, The plan starts with Brian Dable. They want to establish that line of scrimmage. They have a physical offensive line, a rotation of backs to keep them fresh, a quarterback that understands where to make the check, where the weakness of that defense is. Arkansas has to load up to stop this running game.
Even if they load up, can they stop it? Hurts now dropping back all kinds of time, but it's batted down at the line.
Well, it gives you a chance, Chris. I mean, that's one thing that they're looking for is a chance. Austin Capps there, the sophomore, the 300-pounder in the middle, looked like he may have got his hand up there, 41, right there. Good job of timing that. Couldn't get to Hurts, but he does a good job of getting up and climbing the ladder to knock that down. Paul Rhodes, the new defensive coordinator this year, has implemented a 3-4, 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers.
Scarborough comes in motion. He's got it with a running start. Runs through a couple of tackles and gets inside the 40. It'll be 3rd and short. Yeah,
when you implement a new defensive scheme, it takes a little bit of time for people to adjust to understanding what they're doing. And Paul Rhodes has told us this week, it's been a little bit of a work in progress. Guys are getting a little bit better every single week with their knowledge of the scheme.
Kevin Richardson, senior nickelback, is the Arkansas player down on the field. Tide will need 2 on this 3rd down. We'll take a break.
ESPN College Football is presented by Hampton by Hilton. Book a room today and follow your team all the way. And in part by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Silver anniversary celebration tonight of one of the most beloved teams in Bama history. Gene Stallings, 92 national champions. Coach Stallings, 2 weeks removed from a heart attack, was honored pregame along with more than 90 players from that team. We'll talk more about that in a second.
Very cool to see Coach out here with his players. What a great team that was in '92 for the Crimson Tide. Nobody gave him much of a chance against Miami, and they took care of business.
Sure didn't. On 3rd and 2, this is a keeper all the way for Jalen Hurts, who runs through traffic and does move the sticks to the 34. The team was preseason number 9. And they had a bunch of guys who were scrappers and fighters, didn't blow people out like these recent Alabama teams. They kind of ground their way, but as you said, they just ambushed big favorite Miami in the Superdome. And there's Dabo Swinney, who was a walk-on receiver. Even though his Clemson team lost last night, he made his way here.
Shows you how much this team means to him. It's a very disappointing loss on the road at Syracuse. Still wants to be here for his coach and his teammates. Very cool.
This is Harris running left. This time the Hogs set the edge, string it out, and drop him for just a yard gain. DeJohn Harris, the middle linebacker, top tackler, the defense made the stop.
Yeah, I think such great history and tradition here, and there's just so many different decades and so many different coaches.
That was the only national championship between the Bryant and the Saban era. That was the one in 30 years. So
incredible.
Great to see the turnout, too. It shows you the pride to have that many guys to come back. Tuscaloosa, not the easiest place to get to.
Remember that team with John Copeland, Eric Curry, Lemansky Hall.
Vivid memories of that game in the Superdome. From the pocket, Hurts. A downfield shot to Judy, and the freshman hauls it in, just tiptoed out of bounds at the 4, but a guy we expect to see more involved second half of the season, Kirk.
Yeah, Judy is a lot like Calvin Ridley, but watch the patience in the pocket. Works from left all the way back to the right. Knew that he wanted to go to that matchup all along. Found the matchup with one of his better, quicker receivers against the safety in Liddell. Liddell's eyes not where they needed to be, and when you have a guy like Jerry Jeudy that can get separation like that, and you throw the ball in rhythm as a quarterback, you're going to put the ball right on the money, which he did.
29 yards sets up the 1st and goal. Harris having to bounce it, chase, and he'll be able to fight through tackles and score a second touchdown tonight. First run, he showed the speed. That time he showed the power. And the Tide off and rolling. They thought they had him. They were mistaken.
Santos Ramirez, I mean, it's a great effort by Damian Harris, but it was a really poor effort in tackling and team pursuit by Arkansas. Keep in mind, they're coming off a disheartening loss a week ago to South Carolina and Columbia. They don't have their starting quarterback. They're on the road playing Alabama, of all teams. This game hasn't started off the way they had hoped. Playing with a backup quarterback. and I think it's impacting their defense as well. That was not good energy by the Arkansas defense.
Ramiro's one of those guys who said his teammates have to play with some dog and some fight, but he didn't show a lot there.
Well, how about Harris? He shows the explosiveness earlier with a big run, the vision. Here he's going to show you the power. They've got 1 defender, 2 defenders, 3 defenders, all 4 defenders, all had a chance to bring him down, but Damien Harris would not be denied. That's why you keep those legs moving and eventually end up in the end zone. Tide are rolling.
Watching college football on ESPN, presented by Hampton by Hilton. We've gone to the jump around early here, and they have jumped all over the Hogs. 17-zip Crimson Tide, midway first quarter. Warren, again, his 3rd kick return of the evening already. Gets to the edge and is catapulted to the 22 as we check in with Adnan in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. Playing with Confidence update brought to you by Rocket Mortgage. Georgia Tech and Miami, what a game this was. Darrell Langham making a spectacular catch on 4th and 10, and that means it's Michael Badgley, lord of the kicks, getting it done. The Hurricanes remain unbeaten. 25-24 was the final. Chris, back to you and Herbie.
Well, 12-81 for the Hurricanes is becoming like the miracle connection. They beat the Seminoles and the Ramblin' Wreck in similar fashion.
Very similar fashion. Mark Richt has his guys believing they're finding ways to win.
You give Chase Hayden the football, the true freshman, able to dive for a yard. Frank Ragnow is their best football player. He's the center who shifts to guard tonight. Said this after last week's loss. Have pride in yourself in the name on the back of your jersey. And your brothers go out there and compete. He, Santos Ramirez, we talked about the leader, the captain is the safety, imploring these guys to have heart and fight, but they have been knocked around already in the first 7 minutes.
Those quotes will be challenged today for the teammates.
Short completion, and it'll set up 3rd and short. That ball complete to Brandon Martin. Maria?
You just mentioned the captain, Santos Ramirez. He walked up to basically every player and said the effort's not acceptable. And the entire player and the defense got together, player-led, and they said we have to show better effort. We have to do better. So they're working on trying to build some kind of energy over here on the sidelines, guys.
The message that he best heated it from the first play.
Yeah, first play and then the effort there in the last touchdown run by Damien Harris. Those are 2 examples of not running to the football and not making plays, not being physical.
Need 4 yards for their first down tonight. Tide bring pressure. Big fella stands in and delivers. And it's a completion to Deion Stewart, off and running across the 40. He stood in there against some heat.
Yeah, he sure did, and he showed nice poise. And give the offensive line a lot of credit. This is a tough thing to do. Also, the freshman Chase Hayden picked up that blitz from the linebacker, and you give the big man a little bit of time, and he does a good job with his vision, looking downfield. On 3rd down, it's going to be man-to-man, and he didn't flinch. He sat right there. Receiver got separation, made a good play.
Get 15 on 3rd and 4. Play action, the throw in a first down will be swallowed up and dropped for a short loss. We talked about Ragnow, the all-world center, moving to right guard. Only the left guard, 51. Yelja Proholt is starting in his regular position tonight, Kirk, against these monsters on the other side.
Well, not only a talented defensive front and linebackers, but also you're dealing with Jeremy Pruitt and Nick Saban. The first thing they see when you break the lineup is, wow, they only have one of their linemen in the original spot. We've got to create a lot more confusion, which they already do, but they're going to dial it up that much more against a line that's being mixed and matched right now to get their best 5 on the field.
This is a lot of what Cole Kelly did against A&M. Kept coming in 3rd and short and plowing ahead and making the first down and giving an excitable first down signal.
Yeah, he's an emotional guy. You can see that on the field in warm-ups. I think he's excited for this opportunity, but obviously can't do it alone. He keeps getting into these 3rd and 6s and 3rd and 7s, and now he's at a 3rd and 10. And just look at the Alabama defense. For Alabama, it's not just playing Arkansas. It's playing teams down the road. It's this package when he gets into 5 and 6 defensive backs, trying to give different wrinkles, trying to create a different look, and keeping an eye on this guy right here, Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Pressure again. Big fella spun around, throws a desperation ball. That's got to be intentional grounding. Got nowhere near the line of scrimmage. Deron Payne pressured him.
Payne gets in there. It's an area that he's really grown this year with Jonathan Allen and others moving on. Watch how Minkah comes through as well. They love to blitz him. They call that the money, a position where they move that 6th defensive back down almost as a linebacker, and they bring him. He is as good as he is in coverage, just as effective at rushing the quarterback on 3rd downs.
And there was a receiver close enough to that ball. There were a lot of Tide players in the sidelines who were pretty close to it. Here comes Blake Johnson again to punt. And Henry Ruggs, true freshman receiver, back deep for the Tide. This time the snap is handled cleanly by Johnson. And Ruggs, he muffs it. Ball rolling around, and he's able to fall on it as the Tide avoid what would have been just their 2nd turnover of the season.
Damian Harris off to a great start tonight for the Crimson Tide. It's been kind of a story all year long. Has great vision. This play is designed to go off to the right, get to the outside. He cuts it all the way back, and then is able to break 1 tackle, cutting against the grain, and the speed to be able to take it into the end zone. And here's the power. Low center of gravity. Reminds me kind of like a Mark Ingram type of back, just bouncing off of defenders, never giving up, and eventually ending up in the end zone. And I know they have great backs. They're 4 or 5 deep here. But Damian Harris refuses to give up being the kind of that focal point of that backfield. They'll rotate other backs in, and right now it looks like Jacobs.
Yeah, Jacobs is an interesting story. He's not the typical 4 or 5-star running back recruit. He's a guy that came out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. We talked to him preseason when he was dealing with a hamstring. Finally, he's healthy. We can see his skill set out here.
Yeah. In the past, you think about him last year, 5'10", 212 pounds. Known really as a guy that was a matchup coming out of the backfield. Almost has receiver-like hands, but he's worked so hard with Scott Cochran, the strength coaches, to become more physical that now you'll see him not only lined up out, like he is right now as a slot, but also he can run on 1st and 2nd down, more physical now.
He's in the slot. Scarborough is in the game. Big Bo's got it, running on the left side and allows for a short game. You got Hurts, who's a tremendous runner. Harris, we've seen what he can do. Scarborough, Jacobs, Najee Harris is one of those all-world running backs. And they add in Josh Jacobs. I mean, it's crazy. This is a more skilled Alabama offense in the running game than I think we've seen. A deeper group, would you say? And they've had some great ones.
And everybody wants to compare what Brian Dable and Mike Locksley are doing this year to what we saw from Lane Kiffin in the past. And I think the biggest difference is not so much how they're attacking with the scheme, it's the personnel, taking advantage of what you have. And when you have that deep of backfield and you have a great offensive line and a quarterback that's a run threat, that's going to be your strength. And then they set their play action pass game off of that running game.
Hurry, 3rd and 5. They just do get it away. Hurts is going to be trapped behind the line and dropped for the Hogs' first sack of the night. A little disorganized there. They barely got the playoff, and the pass pro not solid.
Yeah, Dwayne Eugene, actually their best pass rusher, initially gets in there. Watch 35. You can see him right in the middle of the screen. Forces Jalen Hurts up into the pocket. And it looked like Eugene may have cleaned that up. A good sophomore, 6'3", 286 pounds.
J.K. Scott, who's kicked off a lot more than he's punted this year. He handles both duties, but much busier as a kickoff man than a punter. Just the 20th punt this season. And Deion Stewart returns deep for Arkansas. Scott booms it. And even though there was nobody in the area, he could have made 10 yards without being touched. Stewart calls for a fair catch. Kickoff week 6 of the NFL tomorrow on ESPN, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Sunday NFL countdown. All the breaking stories, updates, stuff that you need for your fantasy team. Also on the ESPN app. And Monday Night Football week 6, the Colts against the Tennessee Titans down there in your hometown, adopted hometown of Nashville.
I'll be over there watching that game.
You're a season ticket holder, right?
Yeah. They need a bounce back after the game last week at Miami.
Speaking of bounce back, Lions get the football back from the 26 down 17. While Whaley, the sophomore, is the back. Whaley goes straight back, thinking screen. And now just finally does dump it off to Whaley, who's hit hard and earns just a couple yards. Ronnie Harrison hit him.
Bama brings a corner blitz, which is actually a really good call into the screen if you're able to get the ball out. It just took forever for Whaley to get out there, and it affected the timing, and Alabama was just too quick defensively. Eventually, they're able to chase that down. But I do like what they're trying to do with Dan Enos, the offensive coordinator. trying to find something to slow Alabama down. You got to break some tendencies. This is an Arkansas team that wants to run the ball, but early down play action could help them tonight.
They pick up pressure. Big fella slings it incomplete. Dan Enos, offensive coordinator from Michigan State quarterback. Adnan with an update from the studio.
All right, Chris, thank you. AARP Real Possibilities Update. How about Georgia making some noise? Facing Missouri, SEC Network, Mecole Hardman. Some nice cuts here and gets in the end zone. Bulldogs up 7-0 early. Number 14 in the country, Chris.
Kind of thing that Saban hates, Adnan, but folks around here all beginning to contemplate an Alabama-Georgia SEC championship game.
Yeah.
Looks like a dominant two teams at the top of this conference. Everybody else,
no doubt about it. Yeah, no doubt about that, especially after today. You knew it would be a tough challenge for Auburn. They had a nice lead, but LSU did not give up.
3rd and long again. Kelly spinning, scrambling, pointing, and throwing. It's a screen, but Whaley is tracked down from behind, short of the first down yardage, as Tony Brown is playing on a sore left knee, made the play.
Alabama defense chasing again with that great team speed, but one thing that's starting to establish itself here early in this game and through the first quarter, this Alabama defense recognizing an inexperienced quarterback and an offensive line that's been reshuffled. They are in attack mode, just coming after Arkansas, and until Arkansas can make them pay for that, they will not relent. They will continue to come after them.
Ruggs back deep for the Tide. Comes up, muffs it again for a second time. Ball rolling around, and this time looks like the Razorbacks have it. They do. So Henry Ruggs has mishandled 2 punts. They've recovered the first, but now back-to-back weeks of turnover for Saban's team.
And if you're Brett Bielema, you're thinking, how do you tilt the field back to your advantage, to your favor, or how can you catch a break? You got to come up with a big play. And whether it's special teams or the defense creating a big play, this time it's the Arkansas special teams. It looks like they're able to get it. Look like maybe Ryder Lucas may have ended up on top of the football.
Robert Decker kind of plowed into the returner.
And here comes Lucas right here. Yep, he jumped on top of it, and now Arkansas all of a sudden with positive play, positive yards, and now they're sitting at the Alabama 32.
It's really the one thing that Alabama did not want to do to open the door for Arkansas here. Figures to be the final play of this first quarter. Hayden battling just to get back to the line of scrimmage. So Alabama scores in the first play from 75 yards out. Damian Harris, a suffocating Tide defense, allows just 35 yards in the first quarter to this brand new starting quarterback, and it's Alabama 17, Arkansas nothing after 1 here in Tuscaloosa on homecoming.
ESPN College Football is presented by Hampton by Hilton.
And welcome back. ESPN College Football presented by Hampton by Hilton, part of Dos Equis Tailgate Week. So the mistake by the Crimson Tide sets Arkansas up as we begin the second quarter. Hogs just very much on the ropes early here, trying to find a way to cut into this lead with Cole Kelly. Had one 15-yard completion, Kirk. The 5 other completions have been for a total of 14 yards, all underneath.
Got to throw here on this down. Can't wait till 3rd down.
We're thinking the same thing, but the pocket collapses, and he is hammered and knocked down. Rashaan Evans, playing through some pain and a groin injury, made the play.
Great to see Rashaan Evans back healthy. After the Florida State game, he has not been able to be the same guy because he's just not quite been at 100%. And you'll see him all over the field. They line him up. In this case, it's 2nd down at linebacker, goes right through the freshman, Chase Hayden, who could not make that block. But tell you what, when you get a healthy Rashaan Evans with Mack Wilson coming along, getting experience, just becomes tougher and tougher to deal with these guys. Now they've moved him over here as a defensive end.
16 sacks on the season for the Tide. That's the first for Evans. Kelly harassed again and misfires over the middle, well covered. Isaiah Buggs, one of those defensive ends, brought the pressure.
I mean, it's as if Alabama's just in the backfield. The line of scrimmage is moving backwards. Whether you're running the football or you're throwing the football, that offensive line is doing the best job that they can. But again, we're talking a lot about these outside linebackers, but the development of Anthony Jennings, the job that he's doing, How about the junior college player Buggs that you just talked about? There are a lot of different guys that are getting experience and getting healthy at the right time for this defense as they get into midseason.
Saban welcome at it. This defense has been injury plagued. They don't quite have the depth, as you mentioned, of other Tide teams. As you would expect, Ruggs has been replaced as a punt returner for now by Trayvon Diggs, who backpedals and makes a fair catch at the 8-yard line. Penn State idle. The whiteouts awaits in Happy Valley. Kirk for us next Saturday on ABC, 7:30 Eastern Time. Wolverines surviving an upset trap in overtime against Indiana today.
Yeah, that was a close game. Indiana once again came close, competing with Michigan in overtime. Just could not get it done. Congrats to the Wolverines. And College Game Day will be there as well. Look forward to heading over to State College. Whiteout, is there anything better than that on a night game when they do the whiteout?
Tremendous environment. It's going to be difficult. If Michigan's offense can't get some things going, that's tough against that defense and that crowd. Harris barrels forward. They still can't bring him down.
No, but let's give the offensive line some credit too. I mean, they're getting a great push on that side, that left side, with Jonah Williams and Pierce Baker, Bradley Bozeman, the center. I think it's the most experienced, most stout side of that offensive line, even though Cotton and Womack have done a good job of developing. They're really the bigger group on the right side. But technique and getting a push, it's hard to beat 73 and 71 on the left.
Hurts keeping all the way. Follows that left side of the line for a first down to the 20.
When you add him into the running game, which defenses always have to account for, it just changes the game. It's a quarterback counterplay, and you got a tight end that's pulling around. You got a right guard that's pulling around. He does a good job of kind of delaying to give them time to get around. But what that does as a defense is when you have to account for a quarterback run game, it gives you some one-on-one opportunities on the outside later in the game.
Hurts a quarterback who's averaging 7.5 yards per rush. Hands it off, and Scarborough's in the clear. Big Bo banging out as he goes down. The ball comes out. And will rule him down at the 40-yard line. No fumble.
You worry about the quarterback. You worry about the quarterback. Watch how this opens up now to the left. Look at this right here. I mean, look at this space to be able to run through. Pinches makes a good block in the tight end, but there's nobody else there. Brian Dable right now, it's like he's a yo-yo with what he is doing to the Arkansas defense, just kind of controlling which way he wants them to go. Running left, running right. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Mixing a little play action just to kind of keep him honest.
They throw a two-back look in there. Hurts will scramble out, still looking downfield, and he'll be knocked down near the line of scrimmage. Tide averaging about 10 yards a play so far.
It's pretty good. But when you run the ball the way they have, it just opens up every aspect of your playbook. It looks like another Arkansas player down here.
It's not good if he can't go. Talbot McGee, this defensive end, sophomore, a key guy, one of the playmakers in that defensive front for the Razorbacks.
Most disruptive guy up front. And taking him right to the locker room.
It's the last thing the defensive front needed. Yeah, they didn't even take it to the sideline.
No.
It's right out to have that leg checked.
See, that right leg is already wrapped.
Jonathan Marshall, the redshirt freshman, number 42, replaces Geem. Najee Harris is the back. The motion to him. Hurts looked that way. Wants to run, but the middle is clogged, and he'll be dropped for a loss. Good and long coming up.
Much better effort there by the defense in the interior. Jalen Hurts kind of gave that almost just a look out to the right, try to get the linebackers out of position. They didn't fall for it at all. They stayed home. It's a quarterback design, quarterback draw, but clogged up there in the middle, sets up a big third down. Now you can see Arkansas showing some pressure. They may fall out of that.
Saw Paul Rhodes, the former Iowa State head coach, the defensive coordinator for the Razorbacks. He's changed the scheme around this year. Tide just 1 for 3 on third down. Hurts has good protection this time and delivers over the middle. Strike, caught, Ridley, first down. Near the 30, his first catch tonight.
How about the patience here by Jalen Hurts? I mean, this is an incredible job of just sitting and waiting. Watch from the right to the left and watch him get this ball thrown right over the top of the linebacker. People can talk all they want about Jalen Hurts and is he developing as a passer. He hasn't had to pass the football when you're averaging over 300 yards a game on the ground. I'm telling you right now, from where he was as a freshman, a true freshman, to where he is now as a true sophomore, he is more than fine as a passer.
A short game from Najee Harris. Meanwhile, Ridley makes his 30th catch. They haven't spread the wealth a lot. We saw Judy with a catch, but he's the next highest wide receiver in terms of number of catches after Ridley with 9 now.
Yeah, and he's only going to get more and more opportunities when they go against better defenses that are going to say, listen, we're going to take Calvin Ridley out of the game. We're going to roll our coverage. We're going to bracket. We're going to double team him. Guys like Judy are going to have to step up. And I'll tell you what else. These true freshmen, Devontae Smith's coming along with Judy, and also Ruggs, who dropped a couple punts. All 3 of those guys are coming around.
Najee Harris is hit hard. You can hear the pads popping. His Arkansas defense starting to show some heart here, which is good to see.
Time Dre Greenlaw cleaned that one up. This is who the ball went over top of. Time great team pursuit. Not letting him get to the perimeter, get to the edge there. They kept him back inside and let Greenlaw clean it up. He is a playmaker himself. We're talking about Dwayne, Eugene, and some of these other players that they have.
I mentioned the young wide receivers for Bama. Ridley and 3 true freshmen now in the game on 3rd and 6. In motion a true freshman back. They got 4 true freshmen and Ridley in the receiving pattern for Hurts right now, and there's a whistle before the snap. So they're talented now, but the pipeline just keeps going here.
Offense number 22. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
You got Harris on the shift, but the youth is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
They played 16 true freshmen.
Yep,
this
and
year.
they feel this class could be as good as they've had since Nick Saban has been there. They just continue to build class after class. It's just exactly what you talked about with the receivers. Ridley with 29, Judy only with 8 coming into tonight. You're going to see again that those numbers will change. If you're going to give Ridley a one-on-one matchup, Brian Dable and Mike Locksley, they're going to take it.
3rd and 11 now to the penalty. Hogs are crowding the line. They do bring some pressure. Tide forced to backpedal, and Hurts will be sacked. So it is to John Harris, the middle linebacker, with his first full sack of the season.
And that was Dre Greenlaw again. Shot right through the middle. Is one-on-one. Who's going to win this battle? Here's Bo Scarborough right here. And here comes the blitz with the middle linebacker, Dre Greenlaw. Bang! Talk about a matchup and physicality. Goes right over top of Bo Scarborough to allow the rest of the defense to get in there and come up with a sack. Good job by that Arkansas defense.
It's a good series for Greenlaw. You talked about him. He's one of those guys that they just need a huge game out of him to be able to compete defensively. Makes a couple plays there, and now Scott forced a punt from the plus 45. Play clock was at 2 when they blew the whistle.
Nick Saban.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Arkansas. First time out of the half.
Okay, so maybe they thought that there was a fake in the works there. Nick a little confused. We'll take a break here. You're watching College Football on ESPN, presented by Hampton by Hilton, as they're starting to get after Jalen Hurts a bit. Taco Bell is a proud partner of the College Football Playoff. Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. Be on the lookout. A lot of students creating some nice homecoming floats this week, Kirk.
Yeah?
It's been a fun week.
Check that out.
I did. I walked around. Part of the pageantry as I went to the pep rally last night.
How was that?
It was more rally than pep. Just very businesslike. Stewart with a fair catch. You didn't expect Nick to give a rousing speech, did you?
No.
To Adnan.
Chris, I've got some rousing words for you here. It's the AT&T Field Pass up to yield Ohio State and Nebraska. Big Ten matchup, and J.T. Barrett here, his 35th career rushing touchdown. Dobbins also had a score. Right now the Buckeyes up 14-0. Back to you.
Ohio State back into the top 10. Of course, much like Clemson, not out of the playoff hunt. And you still feel that those teams, if they can win out, would have if not complete control of destiny, pretty good control. Arkansas from the 9 and all this noise. David Williams, the graduate transfer from South Carolina, who had a 3-year career in Columbia. Short gain there.
So tough to run in the interior of the Alabama defense. Let's see, we got a couple. Oh, it just kind of looked like their helmets might have been locked up. But they play this defense where, I know you love this technical stuff, where it's like a 2-gap. You know, 2-gap means these big, huge defensive linemen, instead of penetrating and getting upfield, they lock on to the offensive lineman and just kind of push them and look into the backfield and just try to eat up the gaps of the defense. Let the linebackers come in and make plays.
Play action. Kelly rolls on 2nd down. Ooh, flipped right through the hands. Not only are they strong, but all the opponents say those D linemen are so well schooled, such good technicians.
Yeah, exactly right. Usually in college football, you see defensive linemen, they're racing upfield. They're trying to get upfield and penetrate. With Alabama, it's not that way. They are more physical, and they just, as I said, grab. Defensive linemen are just kind of locking on to those offensive linemen's shoulders, pushing them, looking behind them, trying to see where the ball is. Then they get you to 3rd down, and here they go. They dial up the pressure, play man-to-man, and try to confuse you with where that pressure is coming from.
3rd and 7. They've thrown all 6 previous 3rd downs. They run it this time and going nowhere is big Cole Kelly. Tide players just jumping on top of the pile. Mack Wilson was involved in the initial stop.
Yeah, if you get to 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 8, unless you're Deshaun Watson and Clemson, you're in trouble. They're going to mix up the looks. The offensive line's trying to communicate. They think the blitz is coming from the left. It ends up coming from the right. Next time they're at 3rd down, you think the blitz is coming from the right. It ends up coming from the left. Well, you're talking about 1 second. That's the last 3rd down. Within a second and a half, you've got 2 or 3 bodies coming from your left and from your right. And this is your first career start as a quarterback. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, 6 possessions, 5 3-and-outs for the Hogs. So Johnson to Trayvon Diggs. That bounces around again. A misadventure for the 3rd time in Alabama's punt return team. That will get Saban concerned and give him a talking point this week in practice. Tide avoid the turnover. Will take over at their 43.
If I'm 7, I'm tiptoeing down the sideline.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, enjoy responsibly. And BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine.
Get the ball gowns for homecoming. Get the brats. Inflatable Big Al.
Yeah, they're ready to go. Second half of the season, getting ready. Competition's getting ready to crank up.
Who is the competition, though, for the Crimson Tide in this conference? Is there any until the conference championship game? They got a homestand at Tennessee coming in here, and LSU after a bye. Scarborough, they fake it to him, and Hurts flip it incomplete. With Scarborough pretty well covered. Maria with an update.
Yeah, Chris, McTelvin again is back on the field after going straight to the locker room. I'm told that he has a cut that he got 2 games ago that opened back up, so they wanted to tape it back up. You'll see it right under his right knee. They've added a lot of padding, a lot of tape around there to try and protect it throughout the rest of the game.
Thanks for you spotted that padding.
Yeah, right away. I mean, as soon as it's one of the few times you've ever seen a guy who was able to walk off on his own, just immediately taken right into the locker room. Arkansas kind of cranking up the pressure here on Jalen Hurts last couple series.
Scarborough stopped for a short gain. Yeah, you wish they'd maybe brought some of this intensity from the first play. They wouldn't be in the 17-zip hole. It's hard to survive the first quarter against them, but they've had some first quarter knockouts against a few opponents.
Well, I mean, here's Arkansas. They're just getting settled into the climate and getting their checks, making sure everybody just stretching that hammy one last time. And Damian Harris takes the ball, runs, cuts back, and 75 yards later, you just got into your uniform. You're not even sweating, and you're down 7.
They made the hockey line change, Kirk. They got Ridley in there with all 3 true freshman receivers. Harris is the back.
It's a matchup you got to win right there.
Hurts looked that way. It's batted down, though. Batted down at the line. He was trying to get the ball to Devontae Smith. A nice play made there. Greenlaw.
They are bringing pressure, and
does a good job of kind of reading the eyes of the quarterback. There's Damian Harris, still is able to go up there. If he doesn't make that play, a very good chance that Devontae Smith got separation. It looked like it was going to be maybe like a back shoulder fade for the first down. Greenlaw's really had a pretty good first half.
And the Tide offense has gotten stagnant since those 2 touchdowns by Harris.
Was he a weapon?
He just boots it high. Stewart comes up and fields the punt cleanly, which is something we haven't seen that often tonight. 5:50 to play before halftime. Arkansas's offense back to work. Watching the SEC on ESPN. Bama has outscored its 4 SEC opponents in the first quarter, 66-6, Kirk. But since then, 3 punts, including 2 3-and-outs when they totaled 2 yards on the possession.
Yeah, they jumped out. You and I looked at each other like, all right, 17-0, 3 possessions in. This could get interesting. As far as what do we have to talk about, we could turn into a college game day scoreboard show in the second half. But instead, they went with the defense from Arkansas has made it interesting. But still, the field position for Cole Kelly's still deep in his own territory, making it tough to establish anything. They only have 33 yards of total offense.
Devwah Whaley tries the left side with little success as we check back in with Adnan.
All right, Chris, love the hockey line change reference, by the way. Updating on Missouri and Georgia over on the SEC Network. This is Drew Lock to Emmanuel Hall on 3rd and 11. Airing it out, and the kids in the hall right now hanging with the Bulldogs. It's 14-all, just about to begin the second quarter. Chris, back to you.
Wow, it's been a bizarre weekend. 2 big stunners on Friday night, some thrillers, some huge comebacks this afternoon, and now Missouri trying to add to that list of stunners. Kelly from the pocket. Just there's nobody open tonight. They've tried these underneath routes, Kirk, again and again, but these are tough throws.
Well, he's also thrown about a 97-mile-an-hour fastball on a quick slant into the teeth of a defense. So it's not the easiest catch to make. He throws a very, very hard ball on these quick slants from the slot. And when you're not getting a whole lot of separation, the ball's coming at you, it makes it tough on these wide receivers. I thought they might boot him a little bit more to get him away from some pressure, kind of move the launch point, give him more of a chance.
3rd down's been a nightmare. Kelly just heaves it. No chance.
No chance.
Just threw it into some green grass as they dropped to 1 for 8 on 3rd down because a lot of them have been 8, 9, 10 yards. And there's been some miscues. Bama's one weak spot so far has been Ruggs, who misplayed a couple, recovered the first, and the second was a turnover for Arkansas. Put Trayvon Diggs back there to have a go, and at times in his career he's been misadventurous back there too.
Yeah, last year as a freshman he had an opportunity to be the return man. There a number of times the ball was a little shaky. He's back there again.
When he does catch it, he's a very tall, shifty returner. They have a chance this time as they drive him back inside the 35. That bounces off a blocker. A flag comes down, and he stopped right there. So it figures to be another punt return team miscue for the Crimson Tide. This is becoming the talking point for next week, I think, so far. Ken Williamson leading our SEC crew tonight. This is a good boot.
During the return,
49-yard
block
punt.
in the back, receiving team number 34. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
And they're going to net 58 yards on that punt after the penalty. Tide will take over. College football is hard work, but this is a moment for the Syracuse Orangemen, who knock off number 2 Clemson in the Dome last night, and a moment for the Berkeley Bears, who, as a 17-point underdog, win by 34 over a top 10 Wazoo team. Man, that's just, you have to love that.
You can't beat that emotion of college football, and huge upsets. Dino Babers always great theater after a huge upset, and here's our top 10.
But Auburn led 17-0 at LSU.
Already 3 from the top 10 this week go down.
AT&T bringing you the rankings, which will be shaken up big time again this week and 2 more weeks of games before the CFP rankings come out and replace the polls. It's Josh Jacobs for a carry on the right side, out to about the 30. Picked up close to 5.
Big Bijan Jackson, 340 pounds, sitting in there at nose guard, 78. Pushing Bradley Bozeman into the backfield. See if Bama can get something going here. They've been a little bit sluggish these last few possessions. And I think Arkansas has kind of dialed up the pressure a bit.
Hurts throwing the ball 4 for 8 for 67 yards. That's it. Looking to throw from the pocket, and there's a strike across the middle, and that's Devontae Smith with his 3rd catch of the season. One of those true freshmen.
Yeah, I like Devontae Smith. I think more and more you're going to see him, as I said, become more a part of this offense, especially when he's left alone one-on-one.
Tied with some tempo after the completion. Hurts scrambling, has blockers, but slings it along the sidelines, and that's Calvin Ridley, who's got a first-down catch into Arkansas territory.
I think as they play better opponents, these receivers and the passing of Jalen Hurts is going to start to surprise people, because you know Hurts is a runner. You know they can run the football with the backs, but Ridley and Judy and Smith and others have an ability to beat man-to-man and make people pay for loading up against the run game.
Ridley from Fort Lauderdale is mentoring Jerry Judy, who's also a South Floridian. You can see it in practice. The guy is the junior, the leader of this core, teaching some of the tricks of the trade to the young guys, who are extremely talented, by the way. These are all 5-star, 4-star recruits who come in at the position, 3 of them. There they are together.
Good look there. Trey Greenlaw limps off the field. So you got one of the guys we continue to talk about this Arkansas defense playing a little bit better, that second level.
He's been their best defensive player tonight, so he's out. And first down, it's Jacobs. And he plows ahead. It's just really an embarrassment of riches at the tailback position for the Tide.
Yeah, deepest tailbacks position, I think, in the country. And I know that Damian Harris and Bo Scarborough and even Najee Harris, the freshmen, get a lot of attention. But the health of Josh Jacobs, what a great sign for Bama fans.
He's got it again. And he fights back to the line of scrimmage. Such a likable guy, and as we said before, not a typical Bama 5-star recruit. A dude who was almost overlooked by people in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have hardly any scholarships coming out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he's kind of very honest. You know, a lot of times you talk to guys who are in the weight room, bump into a guy, and he starts telling you about his story, and he'll sometimes tell you about all these big schools that were looking at him. He's very proud to tell you that, you know, there was hardly anybody looking at him.
Alabama got interested, and then all of a sudden other people said, wait a minute, maybe he is pretty good. But at that point, he was sold on the Crimson Tide. Harris back in the game on 3rd and 2. He's got it, and he's got first down yardage inside the Talked about Harris, Kirk, having to modify his diet and lose some weight and get faster. He had to give up the snack that he loves more than anything else. We'll tell you more about that in a second. Now here it is, Honey Buns. We got the old Honey Bun Pac-Man game. You know, you're not trying to catch him, you're trying to get away from him. Stay away from them, right? So you can gobble up the yards and touchdowns.
That's pretty good.
Eventually, he's going to get away from the Honey Buns, and he's going to get in the end zone.
I think he got away from the Honey Buns on the first play of the game.
It's funny. I mean, you drop a few pounds, and that can translate into, instead of being caught from behind, which he was a couple times last year, getting in the end zone.
Yeah, and I think, you know, a lot of guys, they want to have that instant gratification. They want to just come in as a freshman and explode onto the scene. He had to pay his dues. I mean, Alabama, you don't just walk in and get a chance all the time to be the guy. Najee Harris right now going through that, and Damian Harris went through that. He's paid his dues. He's got in there with Scott Cochran, changed his body, changed his diet, and look at the results based on that sacrifice and that commitment. He's a complete back and running away from people now.
Hurts running away from people in the secondary. The quarterback down near the 11. And he gets a couple of steps, gets steam going, very hard to stop.
That's great recognition. He sees Harris, the linebacker, clear out of here. He goes with Harris. Now look at this. Look at this running lane. Able to recognize that, able to take off. And that you don't want to clear your linebackers out when you have Jalen Hurts and his ability to run the football.
Got 18 yards there, minute and a half before halftime. Tide trying to stretch the lead. They fake it to Harris. Hurts just scores standing up.
It's actually a zone read by Jalen Hurts. The last one he recognized, kind of a run-pass option. He took off and ran. This time he's making a read right here. It's a freshman, Marshall. Actually an inside guy. It was Marshall to the inside. To the outside there was Dwayne Eugene, but he's able to kind of neutralize that edge pressure with the speed that he has and that open field ability to just make people miss.
Last 29 yards of the drive, Hurts said, I'll just take care of this. 18-yarder, setting up the 11-yard touchdown run. And Alabama, after some stagnant series on offense, finds the end zone again and leads it 24-0 over the Razorbacks.
Out here in the field, I found my me.
You see Nick Saban there in the white windbreaker. But this is what I love to see is Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator from Alabama, just talking, teaching, just scored a touchdown. Love to see the relationship with a play caller and a quarterback and the communication back and forth, just teaching constantly.
Dable, of course, first-year play caller here. First college games he attended in 18 years are right here. This is what he says he loves, Kurt. He said, I love the atmosphere after being in the NFL for 18 years, all those games with the Patriots. You didn't quite get this crazy.
I second that. I don't blame him.
Dable said being with Belichick prepared him for working for Nick Saban. Similarities. Gary Cross on the kick return across the 30. As we check in with Adnan.
All right, Chris, thank you. Coming up from the Mercedes-Benz halftime report, it has been a wild weekend of college football. Another top 10 team goes down as Auburn this time vanquished by LSU. Also, highlights from the Red River Showdown as Texas hung tough with Oklahoma, and also the Dogs right now in a tussle with Missouri. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, we're grabbing some honey buns, but they will join me at the half. Chris, back to you.
That team. Get Jesse a honey bun.
No.
It won't be his first.
No. Jesse and Joey, they're not getting anywhere close to the honey bun.
You're talking about the snack food?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
First and 10. 12 before halftime.
You're a beauty.
Chase Hayden is knocked down for a short gain as Razorbacks figure. Let's just get out of here.
You just had a video game.
Yeah.
You just had a video game.
Yes, we did. Saban, of course, will focus on what didn't go right in this first half.
All the way to the end.
Kelly will heave it downfield for the first time. You see the arm strength. Diving catch. Jordan Jones makes the play down inside the Alabama 30. The kid can sling it.
Yep, he beats Anthony Everett, but also you have Hootie Jones, 6, kind of caught up with his eyes in the wrong spot, allows him to get behind Jones, and there's some great speed there by Jordan Jones. Outstanding to be able to pull away from the corner, Anthony Everett.
46 yards on that play. Kelly now backpedals and just fires it away. It's 35 yards total in their first 25 plays. Got 46 with the downfield throw. That's their best chance.
Again, got to remember now, guys, this is his first start. He's 6'7", 270 pounds. Watch this guy come flying through the air. It's Rashaan Evans. Look at him just kind of sit there. 2 guys pull him down. He's like Ben Roethlisberger back there with his size. I mean, it's one thing to get to him. He's like an oak tree. Then you got to somehow pull him down to the ground. But he
sturdy base.
He blocks everything out and does a really good job for a young guy in looking downfield and looking into the coverage.
Arkansas's got a couple of timeouts, 28 seconds to play with here before the break. Kelly from the pocket flips it far side wide open as a soft cushion for Brandon Martin. The junior college transfer knocked down inside the 20 by Minkah Fitzpatrick.
That's a little thing, but a great job again by Kelly. A lot of times a young quarterback, he's going to maybe take that chance. Maybe want to try to trust his arm to make a throw downfield instead. He comes off of that, checks it down, smart decision, and gives his receiver a chance to make a play.
Here's the thing to remember. A field goal doesn't do much, and Arkansas is the worst field goal kicking team in the country. They've made 1 field goal all year. So will he be bold enough? Take a shot at the end zone here. 19 seconds left.
Brett Bielema calling a timeout up at the top.
And so have to spend one of the 2, less than ideal.
Timeout.
Their play clock was winding down.
Second timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
You know, Kelly, a guy that does have some swagger. Redshirted last year, learning the offense. He was a very loyal backup to Austin Allen. Said, look, he's the quarterback of this team, but he's hurt now. So Bielema said of this guy, probably thinks he can play Bama on Saturday and the Patriots on Sunday. That's the way he's kind of wired.
Yeah, but that's a great compliment for a young guy, and trying to say, listen, he's not going to walk in here into Tuscaloosa and to Bryant-Denny and say, oh my gosh, where am I can't believe this. He just has an attitude that he believes in himself, and hasn't been a great first half, obviously.
A little laid back in pregame there on the right.
Yeah, here's what we want you to do. He's like, yep, I gotcha.
That's Allen's. It was right there. He dunked the ball over the goalpost and won it, easily, and then it kind of shook, vibrated. He brought some swagger in here.
He does. He does. You know what, though? You love to see that from a guy. There's Austin Allen right there trying to talk to him, and very cool to see him out there helping him along, trying to give him some feedback based on the coverage and different things maybe he's seeing wearing the headphones. But I love a guy that comes in here, and I think his teammates can feed that or feel that as well, and believe that he's going to try to give them a chance to be able to come back and win a football game.
There's a challenge here by Brett Bielema. They're looking at the clock. He claims that about 3 seconds ran off here. Is knocked out of bounds.
Yeah,
and the game clock did run for 3 more seconds.
He's
so.
right. Should be, it looked like about 22.
Yeah, based on that, they should give the Razorbacks 3 more seconds to use here. That would explain why you use the timeout to challenge it.
And I think you made a great point about how not only you're down 24, I don't think a field goal is something you want to really focus on right now if you're Brett. I think he's thinking let's continue to try to attack and try to make a play downfield into the end zone. They're at the 18-yard line right now.
It's pretty clear that when Martin went down, there were 22 seconds remaining. Yeah. What can you call? You know that Alabama can be so complex, so confusing, and so athletic down here in the red zone.
The clock to be set to 22 seconds. Arkansas will not be charged with a timeout, nor will they lose their challenge. The clock will start on the snap.
Big thing to remember in this area is to get the ball out fast. I mean, you do have a couple timeouts there. They'll get that timeout back. So you still have timeouts remaining, but you're going to have about maybe 2 seconds if you're in drop back to get the ball out, which means these receivers got to do a good job of being able to get off press coverage.
Imagine this is your first action as a starter in college football, dealing with this. Crowd making it tough. Tied. Rush 5. Incomplete on the sideline. Just nowhere to throw. And tight coverage was Anthony Averett against their top receiver, Nance.
What makes it really hard to throw the ball in Alabama down here is they've got corners that can play man, which is tough to deal with, especially with the pass rush. But then they'll play 2 safeties that are deep. So the only spot that you can really try to throw the football on them downfield is to the middle of the field. And once they break their huddle here, I'll kind of show you that what Nick Saban's always that's kind of his trademark of trying to keep 2 safeties back. So you got 2 guys back here. You've got to try to split them if you're going to throw it downfield.
Kelly rolling. Just fires along the sidelines. That's Martin making a diving catch. The clock is running, and Arkansas will have to spend the timeout with 10 seconds left. They'll face a 3rd and long now. Yeah, you've got hybrid Minkah Fitzpatrick all over the place. Most feel that he and Ronnie Harrison are the 2 best safeties in the country on this team. Plus those corners, Averett and Levi Wallace, the former walk-on, is a great cover guy too.
Their corners are a great story this year because typically they have corners that are potentially, maybe a 1st or 2nd round draft pick. These guys this year are more technicians. These guys are guys that have really had to come in and be committed to the development and lifting weights, and now they've become Levi Wallace, a guy that's up to 183 pounds. He played at 170 pounds last year and was even smaller than that when he came in as a young player. But Nick Saban's proud to talk about a guy like Levi Wallace.
I love his story. His dad, who passed away, recently wanted him to come to Alabama and give it a go as a walk. And he was just here as a student and just taking it all in and tried out in this place as a walk-on DB, starting corner. Unheard of.
Right.
That's how hard he's worked.
Through that work and that perseverance, here he is starting.
3rd and 9. Kelly stands in, delivers short. Completion. Hammering down inside the 5 is Brandon Martin. So it's 1st and goal, 3 seconds to go. But got that one timeout. He figured take a shot in the end zone.
Yeah, he used his last timeout. Boy, this is a well-executed play. Great call by Dan Enos. Gets the defense right where he wants him. Watch this. You see Mack Wilson kind of looking over to make sure he's getting the right call, the right feel. And once he clears out, all the coverage is out there. Look at the middle. Look how open that is in the middle. Makes the throw. Then he's able to turn upfield and almost gets all the way to the end zone.
Brandon Martin was the #1 junior college wide receiver, Mississippi Gulf Coast Junior College. Only had 1 catch coming into this game because he had back and hamstring problems. When healthy, he is a serious weapon. Bielema, by challenging, using that timeout, got those 3 seconds back. So exactly 3 seconds to play with here. What do you call, Coach, against this defense needing 3 yards for a score?
Yeah, well, obviously, you got to take. Well, let's see. First of all, if he's going to go with an offensive call, or he's got a field goal kicker out that's lined up too, they're going to obviously try to get a touchdown here. I think you got to try some kind of crossing route. I mean, you can't throw the fade. That's 50-50 ball, and against Alabama, it's like a 30-70 ball. I would try something where you have a receiver coming into the interior. They've had more success against Alabama than trying anything out on the edge.
And the Hogs get on the board in the final play of the first half. Kelly flips it middle. Incomplete. Tried for a crossing route. Ronnie Harrison broke it up. And the defense for the Crimson Tide makes a stand to preserve a halftime shutout, 24-0.
I like the call. I mean, like I said, you got to go back to the middle. It's tough on the outside. Try to find a tight end this time to see if they can win with C.J. O'Grady. Great coverage. Gets the right hand around O'Grady and knocks the football away. This is what makes a Ronnie Harrison so tough.
Maria will visit with Nick Saban in a moment. But back now to Adnan, Joey, and Jesse for the halftime report. Tide lead at 24-0.
You're watching Dos Equis Tailgate Week.
Set for the second half here in Tuscaloosa on a homecoming weekend. Tide lead at 24-0 over the Razorbacks. Pretty much what you would expect. This is the SEC on ESPN, and this is a dominant running team. Alabama against the team that had struggled to stop the run all season long. So the Crimson Tide, Kirk, 3 rushing touchdowns. On the other side, an aggressive defense against a first-time redshirt freshman starting quarterback in front of a reshuffled offensive line. What you'd expect on that side, too.
Yeah, I guess so. But this game looked like it was going to get really out of hand early. You got to give Arkansas some credit considering what they're facing, playing with a backup quarterback making his first career start, reshuffle the offensive line. And here they are on the road. By the way, playing Alabama probably at the worst time when Nick Saban challenged his team after their performance last week. So they've hung in there. But yeah, 24-0. You're just trying to fight here and show some pride in the second half.
A chance to get on the board. They marched all the way down the field. A big pass play, but broken up in the end zone. And Damian Harris from the very first play cuts it back 75 to the house.
The vision he's always had. But this is the thing that we've talked about, his ability to pull away from people with his speed. Great power for his second touchdown to get it into the end zone. And this Alabama defense has done a very good job of confusing the offensive line, putting pressure on the big fella Cole Kelly. Time after time, blitzing, just in that backfield, in the face of Kelly, who did hit a big pass there at the end of the first half.
He was sacked twice. He was pressured a whole lot, but as you said, he stood in there.
Going to take it.
Make a play at the end of the half. Perhaps that will give him some confidence. Not short on confidence anyway. Here's a slant, and it is complete. That ball zipped in there for a first down to the 40 as we check in with Maria Taylor.
All right, we see Arkansas's offense on the field, and Brett Bielema says that he wants to play with more tempo, so he's going to go with a little 2-minute offense as much as possible with Cole Kelly. He said he's more comfortable with that type of rhythm and flow. And he's also glad that his defense settled in after giving that cheap run to Damian Harris.
Interesting, the up-tempo. That does help a lot of younger quarterbacks. You don't have to think as much. You can just kind of react and trust your preparation and make quicker decisions.
Can they get to third more manageable? And that's Williams with a nice first down carry. The young guy in front of that reshuffled group up front has faced 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 throughout the first half. Here comes pressure. They pick it up, and now with no one to throw to, Kelly backpedals and delivers incomplete. It was off the hand of Deion Stewart.
Yeah, Rashaan Evans, it's just great. I keep saying this. It's great to see him healthy again and being able to pressure quarterbacks.
That pressure causing a hole in the offensive line. He's a dude with a high pain threshold, a charismatic.
Holding on the offense, number 33. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot.
Watch him come right into the middle with David Williams. Just puts him on his back. Now, again, he doesn't necessarily come up with a sack, but that again is what Alabama refers to as affecting the quarterback. Just by blowing up David Williams in the face of the quarterback, that's impacting what that quarterback. All of a sudden, Kelly had to get out of there because he felt that pressure. But getting Evans back healthy is a difference maker for this defense.
Williams got run over and then tried to trip him. That's Arkansas's
What are you going to do, right?
Evans, I started to say, is a very charismatic, likable leader of that team. They pressure the quarterback again, but it's a nice completion. Stewart takes a hard shot. They've moved the sticks into Alabama territory.
And here comes the tempo. I thought the pressure with Anthony Jennings might get to him, but he got the ball out just before Jennings was able to get to him and knock that football away. We keep talking about where do you attack this Alabama defense tonight. It's hard to get them on the edge. It's hard to beat them in man-to-man to the outside. It's a lot easier into the interior of the defense.
Playing with that tempo, a free runner off the end. They dump it down. That's the first catch for O'Grady, the tight end. Sean Deion Hamilton tracked him down after a gain of about 3.
Big throw, gets the ball thrown downfield. All of a sudden, tempo, trying to maybe put Alabama a little bit more on their heels. Plus territory now as they move into Alabama territory and for another second down manageable.
Pressure again picked up. Kelly, another tough crossing route. That's Levi Wallace, that long arm corner who broke it up.
Yeah, again, they're trying to throw into the middle. Sean Deion Hamilton, almost like a spy. He's a middle linebacker, but he sits back in coverage. What I really appreciated there by Cole Kelly is he waited for his receiver to clear Sean Deion Hamilton. There he is, 20 in the background. He waited till Jones cleared, but they just cannot come up with a pretty tight coverage there by Levi Wallace.
Wallace told me he loved to study under Cyrus Jones and Marlon Humphrey, the guys who were the veterans when he was coming on the scene. Learned very well from those talented guys. Another 3rd and long, Kirk. They need 7 here. Tide, don't show pressure, bring it late, hit the quarterback, and it's incomplete. Rashaan Evans again hit him in the back. Martin was in the neighborhood, but not enough time to get it to him.
Yeah, he went the right way because Levi Wallace ends up blitzing out here, but the pressure, the real pressure comes from the edge pressure from Alabama, which has been missing, by the way, because of all the injuries to their outside linebackers. But you can see how open his receiver was, so he recognized the corner blitz late, just doesn't make an accurate throw. It would have been a first down.
Evans' quickness now that he's healthier. The difference between a first down catch and a hit on the quarterback. So here comes another punt. Trayvon Diggs. It's an uneventful fair catch at the 16-yard line. Another reminder about week 6 of the NFL. Sunday, 10 Eastern on ESPN. Sunday NFL Countdown. Also streaming live on the ESPN app. And on Monday Night Football, Colts and the Titans from Nashville. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6 p.m. Also available in Spanish on ESPN2. Bama's first possession of the second half. 275 total yards in the opening half. And just like the opening play of the game, they feed Harris. This time he is knocked down after about 4 yards. Getting near 100 yards now.
Looking out there and seeing McTelvin, a game number 3, who left the game, and Maria reported on that injury and how he went in there. It's nice to see him back here in the second half and playing. Also see Dre Greenlaw, 23, who had a really good first half and walked off with an injury. He's also back in the lineup.
Harris with the swing pass. Good block on the edge and an easy first down. Hale Hentges, the tight end, cleared things out for him.
Yeah, Hentges had a block. Calvin Ridley had a block. When you get perimeter blocking from a receiver in tight end, it goes from like a 6 or 7 yard gain to bigger yards and a first down.
Don't expect Alabama to throttle back. Saban has been preaching finish, finish. They didn't really finish A&M off last week. It was a nice hands catch. Reaching out there was Cam Sims, senior, with his 7th catch of the season.
Yeah, just more timing. Coaches knew coming in today because Arkansas plays softer zone coverage compared to the man-to-man that they've seen in most of this season, that some of their timing routes would be there with Jalen Hurts and with his receivers. That time just a simple little back shoulder fade.
Harris has a crease. Oh, was just tripped up. He had designs on his 3rd touchdown run of the night.
A counter play that gets this defense out of position. He's going to come back this way, and he's going to have some linemen in front of him. And watch this Arkansas defense thinking the ball is going to bounce out here. And there's the vision once again by Damien Harris. He puts that left foot in the ground. The umpire tries to slow him down. That helped Arkansas, and who knows, maybe he was able to take it all the way to the house.
110 yards rushing for Harris on 7 carries, who yields playing time to Scarborough. Bangs off the right side for 3.
You know, with Alabama's running game, with Jalen Hurts and with Bo Scarborough and Damien Harris, you know, a lot of times you think it's Alabama, you think it's physicality, it's they're squaring their shoulders, they're going to run downhill right at you. But what they've had a lot of success with is getting you to overcommit as a defense, overflow, and then to be able to cut back. And we saw that in the first play. We've seen it throughout the night. With Damien Harris especially, his vision allows him to get a defense fast flowing one way and then cut back the other way with his cutback ability and the vision.
Big series for this Arkansas defense just to keep any hope alive of making this a fight. Got to get tied off the field, loop downfield. It's incomplete. Sims would go out of bounds. He was battling the true freshman Cameron Curl there.
Yeah, that's a miscommunication. Cam Sims, you have to be able to adjust your route based on the coverage. He's already out of bounds. Misidentifies the coverage. If it's softer coverage, it's a quick hitch. If they walk up tight into your face, then you've got to turn that into a fade down the sideline. And Jalen Hurts was waiting for him to turn that into a fade right away, but he was running a shorter route. Jalen Hurts and he just not quite on the same page.
It wasn't textbook defending by Curl, but because Sims ran out of bounds, didn't matter. So it's 3rd and 7. From the pocket, Hurts delivers a strike across the middle, and the catch is made by Ridley, and they move the sticks.
Calvin Ridley puts his foot in the ground. He is tough to cover. Bang! Right there. Just a great, that's a true freshman. Curl trying to stay with him.
Did pretty well, but as you said, the cut was great.
That is beautiful.
Interception and a first down. The previous play is under review.
John Bible is the replay official for the SEC. He wants to take another look at this completion. While they check that out, we'll take a quick break here. 24-0 tied, early 3rd. After review, the call of a Ridley catch stands. The ball did hit the ground and move, but the ruling was that he had control of it when it hit the ground. Didn't see enough to overturn the call there. So Bama ball at the 43-yard line.
Big
Ridley's
third down.
made 3 catches. Yeah,
big third down. A great route. Curl, who's got a really bright future. They're impressed with him. Number 2, the freshman. Leave him out there. Really mature, strong, intense kid.
Yeah, you're a freshman quarter. He's been targeted often, and he has held up pretty well.
Sure
there he
has.
is against Ridley right now. First down throw from Hurts. Short diving interception. And the first interception of the season thrown by Jalen Hurts is made by Kevin Richardson.
Yeah, it just seems like Cam Sims and Jalen Hurts this drive just not in rhythm. That ball just hung out there forever. Give Richardson a lot of credit for being, you see him in the background there. He anticipates, gets a good jump on the ball, lays out and makes the play. See him right there? He eyes up Cam Sims right away. And that ball just kind of floated. That is a long throw. It's in the air for a very long time. And Kevin Richardson playing that nickel spot as a senior with that captain on his jersey ends up jumping in front and getting Arkansas the football back.
That is a spectacular pick, and the first in 206 pass attempts thrown by Jalen Hurts.
Paul Rhodes is fired up for that interception.
Jet sweep, and they hand the ball off to Deion Stewart, and Tide string that play out. He hadn't thrown a lot of risky passes. They don't have to in this offense, so that's why he's able to avoid interceptions. But that was just a spectacular individual play.
He has not thrown any interceptions all year because of their running game. They've avoided putting him in risky positions. Time, like I said, that was a long throw that just kind of hung out there.
Kelly batted up in the air and falls harmlessly to the ground. Potential takeaway for the Tide, who don't have one yet tonight.
Big fella Joshua Frazier, the senior, getting that push. Again, being able to knock. Remember, Kelly at 6'7". Frazier still able to get his hand up there to knock that ball away. Comes the dreaded third down facing Alabama. Arkansas 2 of 10 on the night.
3rd and 5, relatively comfortable compared to what they've been facing. Tide bring the heat. Kelly stands, delivers. Catch is made down inside the 40 by Jordan Jones. Another first down.
You know where the ball's going. They're throwing. The outside receivers are cutting in against man. Did he hold on to the football? He bobbled it. Looks like he was able to secure it. They might take another peek at that.
They're trying to play fast, Kirk. They're trying to see if they can beat the buzzer. John Bible did not buzz down, so the catch stands, and now Whaley tests the right side and picks up about 5.
It looked at the first glance, it looked like he bobbled it initially, and then he somehow was able to get possession of the football.
It wasn't clean there. A hand and arm in there. It doesn't show a whole lot in terms of ball hitting the ground. Doesn't matter now. They did get the playoff before the buzz down. And they picked up 5 on first down. Starting to get a little more success in early downs. Whaley had a crease, but closing down quickly with Ronnie Harrison, the safety. 3rd and 3 now.
How much fun is it to watch Ronnie Harrison fill when he comes down to hit somebody? The junior 6'3", 215-pounder, arguably one of the most hard-hitting safeties in college football. Played as a freshman. He and Minkah Fitzpatrick coming in together.
It's fun to watch. Not fun to be in the receiving end of one of those hits at all. On 3rd and 3, Whaley plows for a first down, and the Hogs are in business here. Harrison on that tackle.
See Raekwon Davis running in late. That's the only thing that drives Nick Saban crazy, giving up yards, is having guys running on and off the field at the wrong time. Davis ran in didn't even get out onto the field to be able to have a chance to help the defense out.
They convert there with their longest run of the night. That was 9 yards, and now you get a pre-snap penalty.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 85. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Tight end Cheyenne O'Grady guilty. Here's what you talked about, the late shuttle here.
Trying to get Davis into the game. There's a little bit of confusion. He's checking himself out, and they're saying, no. You can see him at the bottom. No, you got to, what, in, out? That miscommunication will drive a head coach crazy, let alone Nick Saban. By the way, this tempo and trying to get Alabama on their heels, pretty effective so far for Arkansas in this second half. Trying to change up their looks, personnel groupings, formations.
Does he see the play clock? Just gets it off. Kelly slings it, and it's complete again. Deion Stewart's been able to work. There's some opening shallow in that secondary. Took a hard hit after the catch. Still down.
You notice how, because of how strong his arm is, it looks like he's going to try to, he's going to get up and be able to get off the field. You notice how at 6'7", 270, a lot of these throws he's making, he's throwing just with his arm.
he's getting such pressure that he's not really getting a chance to step into the throw. Watch how he kind of just falls back as he's delivering the ball. He is anticipating being hit, and because he's been hit so much tonight, but to recognize the arm strength where he's just kind of flipping it, and a lot of times he's throwing it 25 yards down the middle of the field, but he's throwing it all arm. He's really not having a chance to step into the throw because of the pressure that he's facing tonight.
It's really incredible. Your first career start against this defense, #1 team in this place. Brandon Allen, older brother of Austin, actually made his first career start against the Crimson Tide. And there's Kelly Hammered. 2012, he got shut out, but it's kind of coincidental that Allen made his first start. Now his little brother's out in the first start for Cole Kelly. To Adnan.
All right, Chris, we got an AARP real possibility update. Utah and USC over on ABC. This is Damari Simpkins, yes, to Troy Williams. A little trickery here from the Utes right now. They got the lead over USC 21-7, Chris.
Up 2 scores in the Coliseum. Hogs need 12 on third. Kelly has good protection this time. And now will take off. And look at the big fella. Look at the big fella. Old Steamboat, they call him, from Lafayette, Louisiana. First down yardage to the 12.
Man to man. Defensive backs with their backs turned to him. There's Buggs that's going to be down. But you're right, Kelly, early in the game we said if he would take off, he picks up a first down. See how Alabama's defense is a man-to-man. Nobody's left to account for a quarterback at 6'7", 270. He outruns Buggs. He's like, am I going to get hit? I'm going to get hit. And somehow is able to get the yards that he needs for the first down.
You know, usually the defensive lineman lands on the quarterback, and that's trouble. This is the reverse. Watch Buggs slinging the big fella down, and he kind of lands on that left knee. And they don't need another injury to Buggs, who's playing because Deshaun Hand is an MCL, and he's out for a couple more games. This is a serious concern if Buggs can't return.
Yeah, he is, because of the reps he has been able to receive with Hand down, he seems to just be getting better and better, become a playmaker on that defensive line. Good to see him up.
And Christian Miller, a linebacker, out. Terrell Lewis and Hand, perhaps another game before he comes back. Looks like Buggs is able to walk off.
That doesn't include Anthony Jennings, who got dinged in that Florida State game. Rashaan Evans. Both those guys missed a couple games. It's just been one of those years, not to mention the great players they lost from a year ago. You know, that one position that they needed to stay healthy was outside linebacker, and probably the area that they've been hit the hardest with injuries.
Well, this guy's a future star, isn't he? This is LeBrian Ray, a true freshman from Madison, Alabama, 5-star recruit who comes in to replace Buggs. Inexperienced, but no less freaky. Kelly on the run. Just fires back in the turf. That screen was going nowhere, and that was the young fellow coming off the edge.
Yeah, he gets in there, Chris. He's moved around from outside linebacker to defensive line. They thought about maybe being able to redshirt him, but because of the injuries, they've now had to put him into the rotation. 6'5", 272 pounds, and very athletic. Great play that time, by the way, by Sean Dion Hamilton. That screen that was slow in developing, never had a chance. And Hamilton, one of the leaders and the visionaries of this defense this year in position.
And the second time tonight, the Razorbacks are in close. Can they find a way to squeeze one into that tight zone? You know, they flip it short, just nothing there. There's Sean Dion Hamilton, who's all over the tight end of Grady.
Yeah, he's just he's always in the right place, does everything that they want him to do. Even last year when they had Reuben Foster, when he went down with an injury, he had a knee injury, every time we'd get together with Alabama, Nick Saban and Jeremy Pruitt, they would talk about, boy, did we miss Sean Dion Hamilton. Just kind of a conduit between us as coaches and the field and the players, and being able to communicate what we want. He gets everybody aligned. And his last 2 plays, again, an example of that, being in a perfect position to defend both those passes.
He covers, he invades the backfield, forced to fumble against A&M last week. 3rd and 9. He got 2 plays to get it. Kelly pressured again, escapes, buys time, and just fires incomplete. Trying to get it to Deion Stewart along the end line. Could have run for a few yards there, but now it's 4th and 9.
Got annihilated after he threw the football. I thought he might throw it because it's 4-down territory. Could have picked up 6, 7, 8 yards possibly there. But as soon as he delivered the ball, he gets destroyed. He's waiting, and then right there.
Big
like
Payne.
Deron Payne, yeah.
Brought the pain. But had he run for some yards, they might have had a chance to go for
Now
it.
it's maybe
down.
4th and 2.
Said Connor Limpert, the lefty who was replacing Cole Headland, who'd missed a couple earlier. For just the second time this year, Arkansas has kicked a field goal. Limpert is 2 for 2. Win a baptism in a tough place in your first college start, young fella. Boom! Pain. Guy feeling some. Hogs are on the board, though, 24-3.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. And the Ego Power Plus blower. Ego, powered beyond belief.
The homecoming tradition, Kirk, not floats. They're what's called yard decoration pomps. Since you're the best around, you can analyze the technique involved here to make these pomps.
That's good technique there. The tissue pumps, chicken wire and glue looks like they're using there.
Exactly. Excellent analysis. Diggs from the goal line. Hogs choose to kick it deep. Thought they might try something cute on the kickoff to get the ball back. In the meantime, Alabama, which went about 37 quarters without committing a turnover, they had 21 takeaways in between their own turnovers, going back to the Auburn game. But last week, Foster had the ball punched out, and a couple of turnovers tonight. Ruggs muffing this punt, and Jalen Hurts' streak of 206 straight attempts without a pick ends right there. Diving interception made by Kevin Richardson. So 2 turnovers tonight after 1 last week. Something else for Nick Saban to talk about after all the glowing reviews of this game. They haven't finished Arkansas yet, though. Outscored 3-0 so far here in the 3rd quarter. Hurts keeps it, makes a man miss, and takes off for another big run out near the 40.
Well, that is a great move against Trey Greenlaw, one of the better defenders from Arkansas in the open field. 23 right in the middle of the screen. Little move to the outside, gets by him, and this is again that aspect. Not just quarterback design run, but zone read to try to slow down that defensive pressure from the edge.
The edge is what Saban wants his team to maintain here. They were outscored 16-3 in the second half by the Aggies last week. It was also 24-3 in that game when A&M rallied at home to make it interesting. Eventually, the Tide had to recover an onside kick by Fitzpatrick to secure that one. Scarborough. And Bo barrels into Arkansas territory inside the 45.
How about following Matt Womack at 324 pounds and Lester Cotton at 324? And now you got to deal with Bo Scarborough. Boom, boom, and he gets clear to that second level. And oh, by the way, they keep rotating backs, which allows them to just stay fresh like they do every single week.
And Richardson, the man who made that interception, is being looked at by the elect trainers. Are looking at his lower back area. Take a break. Well, Jalen Hurts with his 41 rushing yards tonight, jumping past old Dixie Howell, who rushed for 1508 as a quarterback in the Depression era, and trails only Harry Gilmer, the quarterback in the post-war Crimson Tide. Watch this play. It's very much like one of the plays that Hurts will run tonight. And here goes Gilmer. He takes off down the right sidelines, cuts it back. Gilmer's in the clear. They're chasing him. I would say the yard lines, but I don't know what yard line. You can't. They don't have the numbers on that field. You know he's getting in the end zone.
Why don't you call the rest of the game like that? Give me another call here.
Gilmer, by the way, is a piece of trivia. I'm going to test your knowledge after this one. Scarborough hammers down. What is noteworthy about Harry Gilmer in terms of his entry into the next level? You think about all the talent that Alabama has had, obviously, since the post-war era.
Yeah, got to be the NFL, right? What did he do in the? Was he an early round pick?
He was the overall #1 pick by the Redskins. Wow. The only one.
Whoa.
For Alabama. Think about all the first rounders they've had, but they haven't figured to last forever. But that's quite noteworthy. Harris, he just is dangerous every touch tonight, isn't he?
And they have found an area where they want to attack, and whether it's Bo Scarborough or Damian Harris. Fun to follow Lester Cotton around to the left on a counter play. Like I said, 324 pounds.
You give him 300 pounders up there.
You give him a clear ability to get around that edge as a lineman.
what do you think you're going to do to Damian Harris following behind him?
And Harris continues to be a thorn for Arkansas. Buck 22 rushing in last year's win. Also had 52 receiving yards in that game. Up near that tonight. They feed him again. Left side again. And a physical run again down near the 20.
For the wear and tear of what Alabama's doing to Arkansas starts to take a toll. See already Greenlaw, who's doing the best that he can out there, playing through some pain. Remember, he got hurt again in the first half, but the way Alabama scores and the way they just impose their will just starts to take effect on your emotions as much as your physical part of the game.
You fake it to Harris. You got Ridley and the 3 rookies in the game. Hurts finds one of them for a touchdown. Henry Ruggs III is a touchdown machine. 4 catches, 4 touchdowns on the season. You cannot have a better percentage than that.
I'm telling you, these freshmen are coming. Ruggs, Smith, and Judy, all 3, by the time they get ready for the latter part of the season, get ready if you're going to defend Alabama. It's not just its running game. And how about the throw on the run by Jalen Hurts? On the move, outstanding throw, gives his young freshman a chance. And Ruggs, as you said, 4th catch of the year and 4 touchdowns. Pretty good percentage.
You get better. 6-footer from Montgomery. Ruggs, Judy, Smith, all being mentored by Ridley. All these running backs and a quarterback who can throw a seed like that in the run. Tied 31-3. Watching the SEC on ESPN. Crimson Tide feature the pass in that drive. 6 plays, 78 yards in less than 3 minutes. Hurts' first touchdown pass of the night, and they stretch it to a 4-touchdown lead. That'll make Jalen Hurts feel good. I asked him to give himself a mid-season grade. He said, I'm playing all right. That's how he felt. All right. Threw a pick tonight, but finally has a touchdown pass. Take a look at tonight's all-state, all-hands-in play featuring Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, well, one of the things that he can do is he can play a lot of different positions. They have moved him around all year long. He continues tonight. Makes it tough on a defense to know if he's in coverage, if he's blitzing. And he is relentless in his pursuit of getting after a quarterback. One of the top players in all of college football. Been playing now for 3 years. And just continues to get better and better because of how he can play in so many different spots.
So Joe Tessitore's Heismanology involving some of the ESPN analysts.
Yeah.
Minkah was top 5, 4th on the current Heismanology list.
It should be.
Kelly steps up, smack into pressure, and is knocked down. So was a flag on the field. And that was Raekwon Davis. Hold will be declined. Davis now 4 sacks this season. Talked about all these quarterbacks, and you got Saquon Barkley at the top of the charts. We'll see him against Michigan next week. Bryce Love having a phenomenal year, but there's old Minkah.
You know, you obviously have to do a lot as a defensive player to be able to get even mentioned at any point this season. Luke Falk, 5 interceptions last night, hurt himself. Baker Mayfield continues to be a guy that's going to, with the way he plays and the highlights that he makes, his name will always be up there as long as Oklahoma wins. Bryce Love probably not getting the attention nationally he deserves with the season he's had.
Chase Hayden, true freshman back, knocked down. The ball comes out. It's recovered by Arkansas back at the 13. It was a live ball when it came loose.
He's just trying to keep this play alive. Love the Alabama defense. See that? Ripping at the football. Rashaan Evans, veteran guy, smart play. Got that football out before Hayden's knee touched the ground.
3rd and 22. Good luck, young fella. Retreating, chased, knocked down at the 1 by that man again, Rashaan Evans. As he gets healthier, he becomes a huge headache for opposing offenses.
I'm telling you, Rashaan Evans healthy is such an important part of Alabama making their run to where they want to be, which is an SEC championship and ultimately trying to get to the playoff and a national championship.
veteran guy, a leader who helps set the tone, and now that he's healthy, you're starting to see really what he can do.
3 plays, negative 24 yards. And that is the end of 3 in Tuscaloosa. 31-3 Crimson Tide. Set for the final quarter. College football on ESPN presented by Hampton by Hilton. Fourth quarter will begin with the 8th punt of the night for Blake Johnson. Javon Diggs, who's taken over as the punt returner for Alabama, standing inside the Razorbacks' 40-yard line. Got to get it away quickly. Only 10 yards from where the ball is snapped. One step, boots it. Diggs retreats. Not a bad kick to the 45. Shifts around and will set Alabama up inside the 35. The All-State bus, piloted by Curtis Wilson, who was lobbying for the long trip to L.A. but settled for the drive down to Birmingham here. Finding great work in the community all season long. Time for your all-hands-in Team of the Week.
Yeah, Team of the Week every week that we do this. And the all-hands-in Team of the Week is Syracuse. What an effort last night, 27-24. Clemson was up at number 2, and Eric Dungey just played out of his mind. Really a great leader. The Syracuse team found a way to get it done, so by far the Team of the Week. Some great games today, but last night was impressive.
In full agreement. What a moment.
Yeah, I saw this live. You can see a player come in here late, kind of late. It wasn't illegal, but Damian Harris gets hit. Good to see him come up.
And here's another look at it here. Harris helped off.
Right there. That's the look right there.
He's able to walk away. Did get up from that. Harris has rushed for 125. An average 14 a carry, 2 touchdowns tonight.
You got to be tough to get up from that, by the way. I mean, he was already a little bit hobbled, and then Froholt came in and knocked him down hard. That's your starting tailback.
Ridley on the pop pass. Runs into traffic and able to pick up about 6 on first down. Cameron Curl on the tackle. Goes into the tent, by the way, to be checked out by the athletic trainers.
Saban just has to be happy to see him get up. Alabama prides themselves on winning the fourth quarter. Nick Saban bringing it up to his team that they won against Texas A&M, but they lost the second half. And so you can only imagine the emphasis by Scott Cochran and Nick Saban this week on winning this fourth quarter.
Jacobs is dragged down. Absolutely. He kept pointing out we lost the second half 16-3, didn't finish. Very unhappy about that. He was unhappy with both the offense and the defense for the performance in the second half.
Honestly, I think that had as much to do with what he did with the media after the game as much as anything. Anytime he does that with the media, he's sending a message to his team. He's sending a message sometimes even to the fans. In this case, it was to his team for losing that second half, and really was a focal point this week in their preparation to get ready for Arkansas.
Jacobs on the third down carry, breaks free and moves it for a red zone first down. I think people misconstrue that often. They think that he's attacking the media. He's using the media as a message delivery system.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think a lot of it he predetermined. Sometimes somebody say, hey, coach, what do you think about Jalen Hurts? I mean, he'll just go in a completely different tangent. He'll forget what the question even was, but he wants to be able to get certain messages out. He's a master at it. Got to give him credit.
He was spirited in practice on Thursday after the practice was over, delivering that kind of message about cutting out all the external stuff, all the clutter, playing to their standard.
Great call.
Hurts on the roll, flips it short, catch made and knocked down inside the 5-yard line is Cam Sims. It'll be first and goal.
Well, that was a great call. Completely fooled Arkansas. First and 10, they boot him the other way, and he had Calvin Ridley if he wanted him on the backside for a touchdown. Look at the defense. They're convinced that Najee Harris is going to get the ball. He's got 3 or 4 different options to throw to. And he ends up getting the ball to Cam Sims for the first down.
You've got Najee Harris, tailback in the game. He's got it. Hammers, stretches, leans, scores. True freshman, second rushing touchdown of the season.
How How would you feel if you're the Arkansas defense? I mean, you're battling as hard as you can. You're trying to rotate bodies to stay fresh. You've been dealing with Damian Harris, then Bo Scarborough, then Josh Jacobs. You make it to the fourth quarter, and here comes Najee Harris at 6'2", 227 pounds, the top running back last year in high school football, who doesn't look like a freshman.
No.
I mean, look at 22. You're going to tell me he's a true freshman?
All that strength and power. He's very fresh, by the way, against the defense. Has been beaten on and trying to just hang on all night. Todd's coming at him in waves.
Absolute specimen.
38-3, still early in the fourth. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. This is just to become a sing-along with some football wedged in the middle here.
Little Garth Brooks.
Still singing.
Just keep it going. We only got like 12:29 to go. Just let this ride out.
They dropped the music and they just kept on singing. It's been different genres every break here. Many have stuck around to savor every second of another Alabama beatdown and hear the music.
I think part of the fun is just the sing-along here in the fourth quarter. If you're an Alabama fan.
Scott booms it deep. You know what's not fun when you think about Alabama and what they've begun to do, Kirk, in the SEC, which has always prided itself on being the strongest and the deepest conference. Consider the Bama is 3-2 in the playoffs. First 3 years, no other team for the conference has reached the playoff. They finished 3-1-2 the last 3 years. No other conference team has finished in the top 25 each of those 3 years. Even the top 25, look at the draft picks. 16 players in the first or second round of the draft in those 3 seasons. Florida has half that number. That's the next closest. So people are beginning to ask, and I know Georgia's looking great in the East, but is Alabama pulling away, and is their dominance beginning to like suppress the strength of the rest of this league? Saban doesn't buy that, but there's a bounced pass by Kelly. We'll pick up on that thought, but check in with Adnan in the studio first.
Thanks very much, Chris. Just want to let you know what is happening right now with Texas A&M and Florida. Check out the unis and the Gators. Jesse Palmer's all in, and Dre Massey is in as well. 6-yard touchdown run. Florida's up 17-10. It's over on ESPN2. Chris, back to you and Herbie.
Gator scales swamp green unis. Very controversial look.
It's working. They're up.
Good point. And there's a slant and a catch and heavy traffic made by Deion Stewart, who is standing in there making some tough catches tonight.
Yeah, he has. Again, they continue to try to attack over the middle behind those linebackers, in front of the safeties. It's really the main spot that they've had success, maybe the only spot that they've had success throwing the football.
And you consider, though, the Tide are well on their way to another dominant SEC victory. And I know the game at College Station got close late as Kelly picks his way over the middle for a short gain. What do you make of the Tide sort of pulling away from the pack in this league? And we're setting Georgia aside right now. Talk about the West Division.
Well, I think with it, when I say the demise of LSU, with LSU not where they were maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, Auburn, I think, is still there. I think Auburn, it's a rivalry game. They get them at home. I think that there's always a chance for that to be a competitive game. But Alabama, Nick Saban, I mean, it's all the way back to 2009. They've kind of separated themselves not only from the SEC, but the whole country.
And just a desperation heave by Kelly. Got heavy pressure from Sean Dion Hamilton. Here comes an officials conference, and there goes the intentional grounding flag.
Intentional grounding, offense number 15. The penalty will place the ball at the spot of the foul and includes a loss of down. It's third down.
But this is a great twist up front, by the way. They bring both the linebackers. They cross them. And Sean Dion Hamilton gets in, and poor Kelly, all he can do is just kind of try to get rid of the football. But, Chris, I think it's a little bit more of just Alabama continues to be who they are. This is Alabama from 09 to right now. This is Alabama. I just think that the other programs, it's not so much that Alabama's pushing them down. I think other programs have fallen down.
Not because of the Tide's dominance.
Just because of Alabama, no. I think it's whether it's the head coaches that they currently have or where they are. I think they've fallen back a notch or two.
3rd and 18. Dangerous pick off the carom. That's Mack Wilson, the linebacker. Give him that turnover belt. That's the first takeaway of the Tide tonight.
How about the athletic ability by Mack Wilson? It's 6'2", 236 out of Montgomery, floating through the air. There again, not stepping into his throw, throwing off his back foot. Hootie Jones initially looks like he might come up with the interception. Ball goes up in the air. And how soft is that from Mack Wilson?
The Tide maybe kind of started the trend. You know, you get a special prize when you create the takeaway. It's that championship belt that they just handed to Wilson over there off the pick. Maybe you got to get an assist, right?
Well, I mean,
he's got the belt.
You would think Hootie Jones would maybe get part of it. Maybe they can sit down together there on the bench.
Tua Tagovailoa, the true freshman backup quarterback, is in the game. It's a backwards pass to Jacobs. It breaks through. Josh Jacobs headed down inside the 10 as the backups continue to show their considerable talent. Here comes this talented young lefty quarterback.
Boy, he is so accurate as a passer. Right off the bench, gives him a look like he might run quarterback draw. Instead, he just throws an absolute rope out to Josh Jacobs out in the flat. And Jacobs almost able to pull away from the defense to get to the end zone.
How sweet would the first touchdown be for Josh Jacobs after missing so much action with an injury. See if they feed him. Yep, he's got it. The right side. Knocked down at the 5. It's going to be fun to watch Tagovailoa sling it around here. I think they'll let him throw the ball here. Time remaining.
Well, he needs to. It has nothing to do with trying to run up the score. I mean, look how relaxed he is as a young freshman. Brian Dable sitting in the play calls for him. But there are a lot of people that are excited to see him continue to grow and develop. Has such a bright future. 6'1", about 219 pounds.
Broke all the records in Hawaii at 84 touchdown passes. St. Louis High School, Marcus Mariota's alma mater.
Came in early, so he's been here through spring football and all through camp.
Jacobs, nothing doing. Hogs defense bows up there. Dejon Harris, the middle linebacker, and others. It's 3rd and goal.
Tagovailoa is a different kind of quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a true threat in running the football, and while he can do that, he's more about precision passing and more about making great decisions throwing the football. So they attack differently when he gets a chance to get in there. Rely more on him distributing the football and making good decisions and accurate throws.
Still a pretty good runner, though, would you say?
Yeah.
Not Hurts level.
No. Different kind of runner. Slippery. Jalen Hurts is going to put his knee through your chest if you get in his way.
3rd and goal. Tagovailoa has to retreat. Fires a rope in and out of the hands of a diving Jerry Jeudy. And it's 4th down. See if they stay on the field. And they're going to go for this.
What I love about him, and I was here for their spring game. And actually, when you do their spring game, we call it from the field. Joey Galloway and myself. And there was just, even for a young guy that had only been on the campus for a few months, there was just a kind of a confidence and a presence about him being a young player.
Dable getting him calmed down. Every moment is a teaching moment for this staff, isn't it?
Yeah.
They decided to send out the field goal kicker Papanastos for a chip shot from 21 after briefly thinking about going for it, and Papanastos knocks it through to make it 41-3. 8:55 to go. So the interception on the carom by Mack Wilson sets up the Tide for a 37-yard 5-play touchdown drive, or field goal drive, excuse me.
ESPN College Football is presented by Hampton by Hilton. Book a room today and follow your team all the way. And in part by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
After the pep rally, because it wasn't quite hot enough last night here in Tuscaloosa, lit a bonfire homecoming there on the quad. So that's one of the original spots where game day was set up over the years.
Oh, yeah.
The show here.
Were you out there for the
I did not stick around for the bonfire. It was important to get some food and drink at that point. Like I said, it was already plenty steamy before they lit the fire. Next Saturday night, we are off to Happy Valley, a whiteout at Beaver Stadium, as Penn State remembers last year's loss to Michigan. They are 15-1 since that loss. Ranked up there for the highest ranking in 2008. Figured they should be number 2, you figure, after Clemson's drop.
Yeah, they will be. More than likely.
ESPN app, you can catch that game. It's the fans' best friend. Live access, highlights, podcasts. Download it now. Down by 38. 8:55 to play. Hogs offense back to work. Chase Hayden, freshman, carries it. What do you think the takeaway will be for Cole Kelly? This will be a life experience. May go on to have a terrific career, but he's shown a lot of his talent tonight. But to break in this way, does it shatter some of the natural confidence that he has, or will we consider this as a lot to learn?
No, I think this is a great experience for him to come in here and face his defense and realize that he'll walk out of here and think, okay, when I get ready to play this next team down the road, whoever that happens to be, the next 2 or 3 games, if he gets his opportunity, that was definitely at 15 yards there. It looked like a late hit. Yeah, there's a flag there.
The bad news is for Arkansas, and perhaps Kelly, if he's still in there, they take on Auburn next. Auburn is going to be coming off a loss. It was 56-3 last year for the Tigers. So
yeah.
Scar tissue.
But I guess
After the play was over, dead ball, personal foul, defense number 21. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Jared Maiden is one of the backup DBs getting a look here. He's
finally gets a chance to do something, and he's going to throw a guy 7 or 8 yards out of bounds. But I think going back to your question about Kelly, I do think that it creates even almost a confidence, even though that you're struggling, because you're not going to see a whole lot of defensive speed and a scheme as difficult and complex to prepare for as you are obviously when you take on Alabama. So it'll help him, I think, allow the game to slow down.
Again, just backpedaling and heaves it into the bench. By the way, on that play that resulted in the penalty, Jonathan Nance, who's caught a touchdown in 4 straight games, finally made his first catch of the night. So the Tide have taken away the top receiver from this offense tonight.
Yeah, they pretty much came into this game wanting to take Nance out, who's been the most explosive and leading receiver for Arkansas, and make this young quarterback find other targets, and it's been tough to do.
He slings it across the middle, and there's another catch in traffic made, this time by Jordan Jones.
The stat that is standing out to me, and they knew coming in that they'd have to throw. You can't just line up, even though you're Arkansas and you think you can run with an offensive line and good backs, you can't run the football. With that being said, they have 13 yards rushing tonight. 13.
Tide giving up an average of only 73 on the ground. That's, of course, #1 in the country. And a third down, very short completion is going to set up 4th and about 2.5. Deontay Thompson quickly hitting the tight end of Grady.
And Arkansas, their entire scheme, Brett Bielema over the years, whether he's been a head coach at Wisconsin or down now at Arkansas, it's about establishing the run to set up their passing game, set up their play action. And they knew coming into tonight they'd have to maybe throw more on early downs to be able to eventually run the ball. But just the game got away from them so early, they haven't really been able to follow that plan.
The flag comes in.
Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty. It remains 4th down.
Bielema questioning it, but now it's going to be 4th and 8. The motto in here was just to avoid the disastrous plays. They really haven't made that many of them. Just the one turnover tonight on that Harum interception. Not too many penalties. That one stings a bit. Makes it 4th and 7. And there's a completion for a first down. Hard shot delivered down near the 40. That was Deontay Thompson, who backs up Harrison.
Yeah, Will Gragg coming across, following another receiver. Lowers his head. Well, that looks like helmet to helmet there. It looks like he lowered his head there, the crown of his helmet.
Well, the receiver lowered his head too, creating that helmet to helmet. No penalty, and Hayden off the left side picks up 3 as we check back with Adnan.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. Just want to update you on what's happening with Arizona and UCLA. 17-7, Arizona lead it. Josh Rosen picked off. In fact, it's a pick 6. Jace Whitaker will take it the other way, 24-7. Arizona's in control, Chris.
Wildcats have gotten hot all of a sudden. Hayden Takes off. First down. And the Razorbacks inside the 30. Tide backups in there on defense, but playing with a great deal of pride, and as you said, trying to make the most of their chance. Xavier McKinney, number 25, you saw, he's a true freshman safety. Kelly against a 4-man rush, has plenty of time, slings it to the end zone, incomplete, and a flag comes out. Jordan Jones in the pattern, and defending him was Jared Maiden, who just had the personal foul on the sidelines there, maybe doubling down on that.
Doesn't get a whole lot of reps. He comes out for a drive,
Defense
and
number 21.
Pat never finds the football, never is able to turn around and try to defend Jordan Jones. Affects him from getting to the football, and with your head not turned around, you don't have a right to the football.
So second major penalty on number 21, who will be he'll get talking to in the meeting room. Is Saban, that's his prized area, the defensive backs.
Oh yeah.
Boss will have something to say about those two plays.
And with Nick Saban and Jeremy Pruitt, you know, they look at these reps for the younger players as intensely as they look at the opening drive of the game.
Good point.
This is not, oh, no problem, we're up 41-3. Look at him. Nick Saban's crossing his arms. He's holding on tight over there.
Kelly flips it. It's a screen. It's the tight end of Grady. A flag is down. That's back in the holding zone. No, but it may go against Alabama. At least that's what Kelly is signaling.
So Jeremy Pruitt saying, come here, to Deontay Thompson.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 69. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's Joshua Frazier. 3 major penalties on this defensive series for Saban's crew.
Oh boy.
He moves the ball to the 6-yard line.
Trying to get the referee's attention.
He's out on the field. He's flirting with the flag. He's way out there near the numbers. Barely gets back to the sideline with his first and goal play. Williams at the line of scrimmage, second and goal.
Again, it just goes to show you, they work so hard during the week, not just prepping the first unit, but the entire team. The 2s get chances, sometimes the 3s get chances, depending on what time of the, you're doing individual drills and you work throughout summer camp. And you finally get some of these guys in the game. It's valuable experience for these players, and there's a sense of pride with this Alabama defense led by Jeremy Pruitt, Nick Saban, and these players. Even the starters want to see these guys hold them out of the end zone.
Hayden takes the pitch, sprints for the pylon, is hammered out just short of it there by Mack Wilson. It'll be third and goal.
And Mack Wilson came in as a highly touted linebacker. Needed to kind of pick up some experience. Watch this hit here right before the goal line.
Man, listen to the hit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Third and goal. In the backfield, Hayden is swung down. Josh Frazier, who just had that penalty, penetrates quickly, and now it's fourth down.
The big fellow who backs up Deron Payne, he's gotten some reps tonight, but that time, I don't know, he anticipated a snap count. He just jumped it. Does a really good job of shooting that gap. Completely caught Froholt off guard. Shot to the inside, and the Alabama staff fired up. Can they hold on here in fourth down?
Everybody except Nick is fired.
He's like, hey, take it easy. There's still another down there.
And the Hogs finally found the end zone. Crowd still making it tough here, deep in the fourth. Into traffic.
Wow, great catch.
Touchdown, no signal yet. They still haven't signaled. Now finally, arms in the air is Jordan Jones. You're right, made a great catch, sandwiched between Crimson Tide defenders.
Great throw, but an unbelievable catch by the freshman. Jordan Jones works from the outside to the inside against Diggs, gets hit again by Mack Wilson. And he knew when he made that move to the inside
He had Trevon Diggs beaten, but he knew that there was a linebacker going to be in there waiting on him. And he still went up, made the catch on 4th down, and held on to it.
Officials weren't sure that he had held on to it, but confirmation, and Razorbacks' first touchdown of the night comes with 3:03 to play, and they promptly then miss the point. Kicking continues to be a problem. So 41-9, and it'll be another talking point for Nick Saban in the meetings in the practice fields this weekend. Back up, getting an earful, and then some. Welcome back. ESPN College Football presented by Hampton by Hilton, part of Dos Equis Tailgate Week. You know, the Tide coaches and the starters and many of their backers around the world taking an interest in that last play, but Arkansas able to find the end zone there on 4th down to tighten things up just a little bit. And, you know, Jones catches the touchdown.
For a young guy like Jones, you grow from that. You know, you really do, against whether it's the backup defense or not. It's still in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. That helps Jordan Jones grow as a young freshman, and also Cole Kelly out there still battling.
Kelly has thrown it 42 times, completed 23. It ends up with 200 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Pressured constantly, sacked 5 times. Quite a baptism, but he did show a lot of toughness and a lot of arm strength. Ruggs from the 5. And Ruggs knocked down at the 28-yard line. Take a break. 2:56 to play in Tuscaloosa.
Next stop, Alabama on the SEC Network.
It'll be the Big Orange. Ooh, a home loss to South Carolina coming into Tuscaloosa on the 3rd Saturday in October. It'll be, I would think, a very ugly week in Knoxville. Your state now you've adopted. Rich Jones after the loss.
Living in Nashville, I hear a lot about Tennessee and their struggles and their fan base frustrated. I can only imagine after the way they lost today, and then got to come down to Tuscaloosa next week.
Najee Harris with those fresh legs, and that big body bangs ahead for 9. It has not been a perfect performance, so perhaps Saban can summon the rat poison theme again. It was Ruggs who muffed a couple of punts. They ended up losing that one. This is the first pick of the season thrown by Jalen Hurts there. And then the personal foul, one of 3 major penalties on that last drive, with the Hogs kind of barging in the back door, so to speak, finding the end zone for the first time.
It's always great when you can win 41-9 and have teaching moments, opportunities to try to make sure the team doesn't listen to all the credit and all the pats on the back. That's really what he does. He tries to keep them with an edge every week. Hard to do, by the way.
Tagovailoa hands off to Najee Harris. He's just stiff-arming and hammering at defenders on his way out of bounds. We laugh at it. Others laugh at it. But I tell you that's symbolic of the standard of excellence that this program has, that he accepts nothing less than total effort by every guy, every play.
I really admire it because I think you and I live this sport, so you see teams from all over the country in every conference, and to do this from 2009 till 2017 and to have the consistency. Yeah, they've been beaten. They lost to Clemson last year in the championship, and they lose some games here and there, but it's just how he presses the buttons to make sure they stay with that edge, that kind of collective attitude where they don't let up. And that's what made him so frustrated last week, was they let up. They were flat against Texas A&M after they built up a lead, and that's the thing that really stood out to him that he didn't like.
They certainly have won this second half tonight, as Ryan Robinson Jr., by the way, the 5th tailback to carry the ball for Alabama, gets in there. After the Washington-Arizona State game, catch Sports Center at night with Stan Verrett and Lynn McCone from L.A. All the highlights. AL and NLCS games. Guess there was a rain out today, right?
Yes. Yeah, I got to tell you, as a Reds fan, I get back into baseball now for the playoffs. It's been a long summer.
Robinson cuts it back. You have an adopted team since the Reds were eliminated in May.
I'm a National League guy by heart, so I typically will follow. The Cubs story was great last year. The Dodgers this year, I'm kind of an old traditionalist. I have no problem seeing the Dodgers do well.
How cool would it be if we somehow stumbled into a Dodgers-Yankees? Although I don't know if that's going to happen. Astros look pretty good.
I'm going to circle back to football for the last 22 seconds here as the Tide will win for a 21st time against SEC competition. Going to make it 71 in a row over unranked opponents. That's approaching the longest streak ever. Arkansas back to work. Auburn a tough assignment as they drop to 0-3 in the SEC. Fast start, a 75-yard bolt to the end zone of the very first play from Damian Harris, who did leave the game with an injury after rushing for 125 yards. Hurts did throw a pick, but threw a touchdown pass, and they beat Arkansas 41-9. So, happy homecoming here in Tuscaloosa. Tide roll for Kirk Herbstreit, Maria Taylor, and our entire crew here in Tuscaloosa. Say so long from Bryant Denny Stadium and send it back to the studio.